Close your eyes and imagine for a moment that sleep could take you anywhere in the universe. What if tonight, instead of resting beneath Earth's familiar sky, you could drift off on the russet plains of Mars, where two tiny moons cast gentle shadows across alien horizons, or float in the golden clouds of Venus, wrapped in atmospheric pressure that cradles you like the deepest ocean embrace. Picture yourself settling into slumber on Jupiter's swirling storms, where lightning the size of continents becomes your nightlight, or finding peace in the gentle gravity of Saturn's rings, where billions of ice crystals scatter starlight into the softest possible glow. This is your invitation to the most extraordinary bedtime journey ever imagined, a voyage through our entire solar system, where each world offers its own unique embrace, its own way of welcoming consciousness into the realm of dreams. From Mercury's sun-scorched silence to the frozen mysteries of distant Pluto, from the volcanic lullabies of Io to the methane seas of Titan, tonight you'll discover what it truly means to make yourself at home anywhere in the cosmos. Every planet has its own gravity, its own light, its own rhythm of day and night. Each one offers a different kind of rest, a unique doorway into sleep that you've never experienced before. Some will rock you gently in familiar comfort. Others will challenge everything you thought you knew about what it means to find peace in the darkness. Over the next 4 hours, we'll visit 9 worlds together, learning not just the science of how you might survive on each one, but something far more precious: how you might truly rest there, how you might find comfort in alien winds, beauty in foreign auroras, and the deepest sleep of your life beneath skies no human eyes have ever seen. So make yourself comfortable here on Earth one last time. Adjust your pillows, pull up your blankets, and prepare for a journey that will take you further from home than any human has ever traveled, while bringing you closer to the universal truth that wherever consciousness wanders in this vast cosmos, sleep, eternal, essential, peaceful sleep, will always find a way to embrace you. Welcome to Sleep on Each Planet, where the entire universe becomes your bedroom, and every star in the sky offers the promise of perfect rest.
What would it feel like to fall asleep beneath the skies of Mercury? Close your eyes for a moment and imagine standing on the edge of the smallest world in our solar system. A world where silence reigns absolute, where the stars shine with a clarity you've never known on Earth, and where the very ground beneath your feet holds stories written by billions of years of cosmic impacts. Mercury, the swift messenger of the ancient gods, racing around our sun in just 88 Earth days. But tonight, we're not concerned with speed. Now we're discovering what it means to rest on a world where night lasts for 88 Earth days, where the darkness wraps around you like a cosmic blanket that never lifts. Let's begin this journey together, slowly, gently, as we prepare to sleep on the closest planet to our sun. You step out of your shelter onto Mercury's surface, and the first sensation that greets you is contrast. Sharp, breathtaking contrast. Above you stretches a sky so dark it seems to drink in light itself. No atmosphere exists here to scatter starlight into a familiar blue glow. Instead, the cosmos reveals itself in its raw, unfiltered glory. Stars shine with pinpoint precision, more brilliant than you've ever seen them on Earth. And every constellation tells its story with crystal clarity. It's strange to imagine, but this darkness is actually a gift. On Earth, our atmosphere creates that beautiful blue sky we love, but it also dims the stars. Here on Mercury, with virtually no atmosphere at all, just a whisper-thin exosphere of oxygen, sodium, and hydrogen, you can see the universe as it truly is. And there, stretching upward from the horizon like a gentle pyramid of light, you notice something magical: the zodiacal light. This soft, ethereal glow comes from countless dust particles throughout our solar system, catching and scattering sunlight. On Earth, this phenomenon is subtle, often invisible. But here, so close to the sun, it creates a luminous bridge across the sky, like nature's own nightlight. The horizon itself extends further than you might expect. Despite Mercury being the smallest planet in our solar system, with a radius of just 2,439 kilometers, the lack of atmospheric haze means you can see for tens of kilometers in every direction. The landscape rolls before you in waves of ancient craters, each one a testament to billions of years of cosmic bombardment. You might not expect it, but there's something deeply peaceful about this view. No clouds drift overhead, no weather systems churn the sky. Just stillness, profound, eternal stillness. As you settle into this alien night, your body begins to register the unique sensations of Mercury's world. The cold tries to reach you, but you're protected by layers of advanced insulation. Outside your suit, the temperature has plummeted to minus 180 degrees Celsius. That's colder than the coldest place on Earth, colder than Antarctica in the depths of winter, colder than anything you've experienced. But inside your shelter, warmth embraces you like a gentle hearth fire. It's fascinating how this world of extremes works. During Mercury's day, surface temperatures soar to 430 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead. But when night falls, and it falls for 88 Earth days at a time, the heat radiates away into space. With no atmosphere to hold warmth close to the surface, the temperature drops dramatically. You might think this sounds harsh, but imagine it differently. Imagine this as nature's perfect sleeping chamber. No distracting weather, no humidity to make you restless, no wind to rattle your windows, just a controlled, stable environment where you can rest undisturbed for as long as you need. The silence here is unlike anything you've experienced on Earth. It's not just quiet, it's the complete absence of sound. With no air to carry sound waves, even if a meteorite were to strike the surface nearby, you would feel the vibration through the ground. But here, nothing. This isn't an empty silence, it's a full silence, pregnant with possibility, rich with the presence of the cosmos around you. Surprisingly, this silence becomes comforting. Your heartbeat, your breathing, the gentle hum of your life support systems, these become a personal lullaby, intimate and soothing.
Now, let's explore what it feels like to lie down on Mercury. The gravity here is 3.7 meters per second squared, which translates to about 38% of Earth's gravity. If you weigh 70 kilograms on Earth, you would weigh only about 26 kilograms here. Your body feels lighter, more buoyant, as if you're floating just slightly above the surface of your bed. When you lie down, the sensation is remarkable. The reduced gravity means less pressure on your joints, less compression of your spine. It's similar to lying in a warm bath, where the water supports your weight, but without the wetness.
your body settles more gently, and turning over requires just the slightest effort. The bed itself would need to be specially designed for this low-gravity environment. Rather than the heavy mattresses we're used to on Earth, you might find yourself in something that feels like a gently cradled cocoon, lightly tethered against the subtle pull of Mercury's whisper-soft gravity. Soft straps might secure you loosely, not to restrain, but to prevent any unconscious floating during sleep. There's something deeply restful about this reduced gravitational pull. Your muscles don't need to work as hard to support your body weight. Your heart doesn't need to pump against as much gravitational resistance. It's as if the planet itself is helping you relax, offering its own form of gentle support. And just when you think you've settled into Mercury's rhythm, another fascinating detail reveals itself: the way time moves on this world. A day on Mercury, from sunrise to sunrise, lasts 176 Earth days. That means you could experience 88 Earth days of continuous night, followed by 88 Earth days of continuous daylight. It's a rhythm unlike anything we know on Earth, where our days cycle every 24 hours. For a human settling down to sleep on Mercury, this presents an interesting opportunity. Rather than fighting against this alien day-night cycle, you could embrace it. During the long night, you might adopt a pattern of extended rest periods, not necessarily sleeping for days at a time, but creating long cycles of deep relaxation, gentle activity, and restorative sleep. Research from places like the International Space Station and Antarctic research stations suggests that humans can adapt to unusual light-dark cycles, especially when we create artificial rhythms using controlled lighting. On Mercury, you might maintain a familiar 24-hour routine using gentle artificial lighting, while also allowing yourself longer, deeper rest periods during the extended night. Imagine having 88 Earth days to perfect the art of rest. No rushing sunrise to wake you before you're ready, no sunset pressure to wind down quickly, just a gentle, extended twilight of the soul, where sleep comes naturally and deeply. With such unusual conditions, how much sleep might your body actually need on Mercury? The reduced gravity would likely make your body feel less fatigued. Your muscles wouldn't work as hard throughout the day. Your cardiovascular system wouldn't need to pump against Earth's full gravitational pull. This might reduce your physical exhaustion, potentially decreasing your sleep needs by 30 to 60 minutes compared to Earth. However, other factors might increase your need for rest. The psychological impact of being on an alien world, the constant protection required from radiation and extreme temperatures, the confinement to protective habitats, these stresses might call for additional restorative sleep. Studies from the International Space Station show that astronauts often sleep about 6 hours per night, though they aim for 8. The unique environment seems to allow for quality sleep in shorter periods, possibly due to the absence of gravitational stress on the body. On Mercury, you might find yourself naturally settling into a pattern of 7 to 9 hours of deep sleep, supplemented by shorter naps during your waking periods. The extended night offers the luxury of flexibility. You could sleep when your body truly calls for it, rather than when a clock dictates. Let's talk about comfort and warmth on this cold, distant world. While the outside temperature plunges to depths that would instantly freeze any exposed water, your sleeping environment would be carefully temperature controlled. Think of it as being wrapped in the most advanced heated blanket imaginable, one that maintains perfect warmth against the cosmic cold. The regolith, the powdery, broken rock that covers Mercury's surface, actually holds heat surprisingly well during the day. While this heat dissipates rapidly in the vacuum of space during night, advanced heating systems could mimic this gentle warmth. Your sleeping area might feel like being enveloped in a heated mineral-soft quilt that radiates steady comfort. Through your habitat's viewport, you might see the landscape dusted with frost that never melts, not water frost, but the frozen traces of Mercury's thin exosphere settling on the surface. This creates an ethereal, crystalline beauty that adds to the dreamlike quality of the world outside. The temperature control required creates an interesting cocoon effect. You're warm and safe inside, while just beyond your protection lies one of the most extreme environments in our solar system. This contrast might actually enhance the feeling of security and comfort, like being warm inside a cabin while snow falls outside, but magnified to cosmic proportions. In Mercury's profound silence, what songs might lull you to sleep? With no atmosphere to carry sound, no wind to whisper through landscapes, no distant thunder or rain, Mercury offers something increasingly rare in our noisy world: complete acoustic peace. The only sounds you would hear are those created within your protective environment, the gentle hum of life support systems, your own breathing, the subtle sounds of your body settling into rest. This silence isn't empty or frightening. Instead, it becomes a blank canvas for your mind. Some people might find it unsettling at first, having grown accustomed to Earth's constant background noise, the distant hum of traffic, air conditioning, electrical systems, wind, insects. But gradually, this pure silence becomes profoundly peaceful. In this quiet, your internal rhythms become more apparent. Your heartbeat becomes a gentle drum. Your breathing becomes a soft rhythm. The tiny sounds of your body become a personal orchestra playing just for you. The magnetosphere of Mercury, though weak, does interact with solar wind to create low-frequency electromagnetic waves. While you couldn't hear them with your ears, sensitive equipment could translate them into audible sounds, creating ethereal tones and whistles that some describe as the planet's own gentle music. These could be piped softly into your sleeping area, adding a subtle, otherworldly soundtrack to your rest.
Now, let me share with you some gentle practices you might develop for falling asleep on Mercury. The crater gazing countdown. As you lie back in your bed, looking up through the transparent dome of your habitat, you begin counting the craters visible on the horizon. Each ancient basin represents millions of years of cosmic history. Count them slowly, one by one, letting each shadowed depression carry away a worry, a thought, a concern from your day. As you count, your mind gradually empties, preparing for sleep under the eternal stars. Zodiacal light meditation. Focus your attention on that soft pyramid of light stretching up from Mercury's horizon. This gentle glow comes from dust particles throughout our solar system, each one catching and reflecting sunlight. Imagine your thoughts as these dust particles, individual, small, but together creating something beautiful and peaceful. Breathe in slowly, following the light upward. Breathe out, letting your thoughts settle like cosmic dust into tranquility. The regolith warmth ritual. Before settling into bed, take a moment to appreciate the warmth of your heated blankets. These simulate the thermal properties of Mercury's regolith, which absorbs intense heat during the day and slowly releases it. Wrap yourself deliberately, gratefully, in this artificial warmth. Feel the controlled temperature as Mercury's gift to you, protection and comfort in the vast cold of space. Whisper a quiet thanks to this small world for sheltering your dreams. Silent echo affirmation. In the vacuum's complete hush, speak your intentions for sleep aloud within your habitat. With no external sounds to compete with your voice, your words become pure and clear.
Say, "I am safe in this cosmic silence. I am warm in this cold world. I am at peace beneath these ancient stars." Let the silence that follows amplify these words, carrying them deep into your subconscious as you drift toward sleep. In sleep on Mercury, what dreams might bloom in your mind? You might find yourself drifting through endless craters that slowly transform into soft, welcoming nests lined with starlight. Each impact basin becomes a gentle hollow where cosmic winds once carried you to rest, and you float from one to another, each crater deeper and more comfortable than the last. Perhaps you'll dream of swimming through rivers of zodiacal light, those soft streams flowing like luminous water across the darkness. In your dream, this light is warm and welcoming, and you move through it as easily as floating in a peaceful lake, carried gently by currents of cosmic dust and ancient sunlight. You might dream of dancing with magnetic tornadoes, the invisible spirals created by Mercury's weak magnetic field interacting with solar wind. In your sleep, these become visible as gentle whirlwinds of light spinning harmlessly around you in the starlit void, creating a cosmic ballet that moves to the rhythm of your breathing. Or perhaps you'll find yourself whispering secrets to the polar ice shadows that hide in Mercury's permanently dark craters. These shadows sparkle like hidden diamonds, and in your dream, they listen to your deepest thoughts and reflect them back as tiny points of light, creating constellations that spell out messages of peace and hope. These dreams feel different on Mercury, deeper, more vivid, perhaps enhanced by the unique environment and the complete absence of external sensory distractions. Sleep here becomes not just rest, but a journey into the cosmic mysteries of your own mind. Mercury's gift settles into your bones now, the peace of absolute silence, the comfort of being held by ancient starlight. As our first world fades into memory, feel how this smallest planet has made you larger, shown you that home can be found in the most unexpected embrace. But listen, do you hear that? A gentle pull from deeper in the solar system, where golden clouds dance in eternal warmth, where the very air becomes a cradle. Our sister world calls to us with amber whispers, promising rest wrapped in veils of light.
From Mercury's crystalline silence, we drift toward warmth incarnate. Venus beckons, our sister in size, our opposite in temperament. Here, floating high above her mysterious surface, we'll discover what it means to be rocked to sleep by supersonic winds, to rest in twilight that never truly ends. This is the world of eternal embrace, where storms become lullabies, and the very atmosphere wraps around you like the universe's most patient mother. Close your eyes and let Venus teach you that sometimes the gentlest sleep comes from surrendering to forces far greater than yourself. As our imaginary vessel approaches Venus, the first thing you notice isn't the scorching surface you might have heard about. No, we're floating much higher, suspended in the planet's thick atmosphere at about 55 kilometers above the surface. Here, something magical happens. The pressure around us becomes familiar, almost exactly like standing at sea level on Earth. One bar of pressure just like home. The temperature? A gentle 20 to 60 degrees Celsius. Warm, but not overwhelming, like a summer evening that never quite cools down. Through the viewport of your floating habitat, you see something extraordinary. The world outside glows with a soft, yellowish-orange light. Not harsh, not blinding, but diffused and welcoming. Sulfuric acid clouds stretch endlessly in all directions, creating a perpetual haze that softens everything. The horizon disappears into this amber veil, and somehow this feels peaceful. Venus whispers of ancient warmth, inviting a gentle surrender to its embrace. And you realize, perhaps for the first time, that falling asleep on another world doesn't have to feel alien at all. The atmosphere that surrounds you is thick and substantial, 96.5% carbon dioxide, 3.5% nitrogen, with those signature sulfuric acid droplets that create the hazy beauty outside. It's dense enough that sound travels well here. In fact, faster than on Earth, about 410 meters per second, creating a world where whispers carry further, and every sound has a different quality. But inside your pressurized habitat, the air is clean and breathable. The thick atmosphere outside acts like a protective blanket, shielding you from the harshness of space. Night here isn't the stark blackness you might expect. Instead, it's a gentle twilight that seems to go on forever. The visibility outside is limited, perhaps 100 to 500 meters through the haze, but this creates an intimate feeling, like being wrapped in a soft cocoon. No harsh starlight piercing your eyes, no brilliant moon keeping you awake, just a gentle, diffuse glow that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. It's strange to imagine, but this limited visibility becomes comforting. Like the way fog on Earth can make a familiar place feel mysterious and safe at the same time. When you lie down on Venus, your body feels familiar, yet subtly different. The gravity here is 8.87 meters per second squared, which translates to about 90% of Earth's pull. If you weigh 70 kilograms on Earth, here you'd weigh about 63. This means that when you settle into bed, there's a gentle lightness to your movements. Your limbs don't quite sink into the mattress the way they would at home. Instead, you feel slightly more buoyant, as if the planet itself is helping to cradle you. The loading on your spine is reduced by about 10%. Those pressure points that sometimes make Earth sleep uncomfortable, they're just a little bit softer here. Your circulation flows a bit more easily. The subtle difference creates a sensation almost like floating in very shallow water, supported but not quite as heavy as you're used to. And here's something wonderful. Unlike the microgravity of space, where astronauts must strap themselves down to avoid drifting away, Venus's familiar pull means you can sleep in a regular bed. The bed cradles you like a buoyant cloud hammock, gently rocking in the eternal winds that surround your floating home. Now this is where Venus reveals one of her most profound secrets. Time itself seems to move to a different rhythm here. Venus rotates backwards compared to Earth, and incredibly slowly. One day on Venus, one complete rotation, takes 243 Earth days. And because of the backward spin,
The time from sunrise to sunrise takes 117 Earth days. Can you imagine that? A single day lasting almost 4 months? But here's what's fascinating. This extreme day length would be impossible for human sleep cycles to adapt to. Our bodies evolved with Earth's 24-hour rhythm, and that internal clock runs too deep to change. So if you were actually living in the clouds of Venus, you'd need to create your own sense of time. Picture this. Inside your floating habitat, artificial lighting mimics Earth's rhythm. Bright, blue-enriched light for your day hours, 500 to 1,000 lux, to keep your mind alert and your natural melatonin production on schedule. Then, as your personal evening approaches, the lights dim to warmer tones, preparing your body for sleep. Unlike Earth's natural rhythm that allows 8 hours of consolidated sleep in a 24-hour cycle, Venus demands that you become the master of your own time. You'd probably need about 9 to 10 hours of sleep here. The combination of isolation, the unusual environment, and the psychological effects of such long periods of sameness would make your body crave more rest.
Outside your habitat, Venus maintains her steady warmth, 20 to 60 degrees Celsius in these cloud layers, with barely a 10-degree variation between day and night. This thermal stability comes from the incredible greenhouse effect of the dense atmosphere. Heat gets trapped and distributed so evenly that temperature changes very slowly. But inside your home, you have control. The habitat maintains a comfortable 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. You might wear light thermal regulation clothing, not heavy blankets, but something more like a light thermal layer that helps your body exchange heat with the gentle warmth outside. The sensation would be unique. Through the frosted viewport, the warmth wraps around your habitat like a sulfuric quilt, soft and eternal. Never the sharp cold of space, never the brutal heat of direct sunlight. Just this consistent, enveloping warmth that asks nothing more than for you to relax into it. Your bedding here might be lighter than on Earth. Perhaps a thin covering that helps manage moisture rather than providing warmth. The stable temperature means your sleep won't be interrupted by getting too hot or too cold in the night. It's like sleeping in a perfectly climate-controlled room that extends infinitely in all directions. As you settle into this Venus night, you become aware of the sounds around you, and surprisingly, this world is not silent. The dense atmosphere carries sound beautifully, and Venus has her own symphony. The dominant sound is the wind. Constant, powerful winds that race around the planet at 60 to 100 meters per second. That's 220 to 360 kilometers per hour. These super-rotating winds move 60 times faster than the planet itself rotates. But here's the beautiful thing. From inside your floating habitat, these aren't destructive forces. They're the reason you can float here safely, and they create a gentle, rhythmic swaying, like being rocked in a cradle by invisible hands. You might also hear something unexpected: thunder. Venus has lightning, about 100 flashes per second across the entire planet, similar to Earth's rate. But it's distant, muffled by the thick atmosphere. The sound reaches you as a soft rumble, like a planetary heartbeat. A distant thunder hums like a planetary sigh, weaving silence with whispers of wind. The combination creates something remarkable, not the profound silence of space, which can feel isolating, but not the chaos of a storm either. Instead, it's a constant, gentle white noise that seems designed to help you sleep. In this floating world, you might develop sleep rituals unlike anything possible on Earth. Let me share a few that feel natural to this strange and beautiful place. Cloud drift meditation. As you prepare for sleep, you lie still and focus on the gentle swaying of your habitat. The winds of Venus provide a rhythmic motion, and you float gently with the superrotation, letting the winds carry away the day's concerns. In your 1-bar pressurized habitat, those powerful 100-meter-per-second winds translate into a subtle, hypnotic rocking motion. It's biofeedback relaxation at its most natural. Your floating home becomes a meditation tool. Lightning lullaby listening. You tune in to the soft crackle of distant storms, a cosmic rhythm to ease your mind. The lightning that Venus Express detected occurs at rates similar to Earth's, and the habitat's acoustic sensors can make these flashes audible. Not sharp cracks, but gentle rumbles that create a natural sleep soundtrack. It's like having nature's own white noise machine. Haze horizon gazing. You practice a kind of moving meditation. You gaze into the amber veil where boundaries blur and peace unfold. The opaque clouds that limit visibility to less than a kilometer become a feature, not a bug. This soft, diffuse view reduces the kind of visual overstimulation that can keep minds active. Instead, your eyes can rest on gentle, shifting patterns of light and shadow. Thermal wrap ritual. You wrap yourself in the warmth of Venus's embrace, a blanket of eternal mildness. The consistent temperature means you can focus on the simple pleasure of comfortable warmth without the need for heavy bedding. It's like being permanently wrapped in the perfect temperature. Never too hot, never too cold. Buoyancy breath sink. Finally, you breathe in sync with your floating cradle, rising and falling like being carried on gentle currents. The near-Earth gravity, combined with the platform's buoyancy, creates a unique sensation during deep breathing exercises. Each breath feels slightly more effortless, and the rhythm helps counter any disorientation from the extreme day lengths. What do you dream about when you sleep in the clouds of Venus? You find yourself drifting through super-rotating winds, endless loops of golden currents carrying you weightless. In your dreams, you become part of those incredible winds that circle the planet at 100 meters per second, 60 times faster than Venus herself rotates. You're swept up in this cosmic dance, moving at speeds that would be impossible on Earth, yet feeling perfectly safe and serene. Flashes of lightning dance like fireflies in a sulfuric mist, illuminating hidden depths. The lightning that Venus Express detected becomes magical in your sleeping mind. Not dangerous storms, but gentle illumination revealing beauty in the amber haze around you. Each flash shows you new layers of cloud, new patterns of light and shadow. You dream of sinking into hazy layers where warmth builds like a greenhouse cradle. The runaway greenhouse effect that maintains Venus's uniform temperatures becomes, in dreams, a nurturing embrace. You're held by the very physics of the planet, wrapped in warmth that has been building for millions of years. And sometimes you dream of the strangest thing of all. Retrograde spins whirl the world backward, time unfolding in reverse whispers. Venus's backward rotation creates dream logic where cause and effect flow differently, where you can walk backwards through experiences, where time becomes fluid and malleable. These aren't nightmares. They're the gentle, surreal dreams that come from sleeping somewhere completely new, where even your subconscious mind marvels at the impossibility of where you are. Venus releases you slowly, reluctantly, like a parent tucking in a beloved child one last time. Her golden warmth has become part of your cellular memory now, proof that comfort exists in the most impossible places, that even acid clouds can nurture dreams. But another world tugs at the edge of consciousness, rust-red and familiar, wearing seasons like old clothes. Mars waits with patient dignity, promising sleep beneath alien constellations, rest measured in souls instead of days. Now we come to the storyteller planet, where every crater holds a tale, where dried riverbeds speak of ancient waters and possible life. Mars, the red wanderer, extends its rusty hand to welcome us home to a world that isn't home, yet somehow feels like memory. Here, gravity lightens your bones, while time moves at almost Earth rhythms. This is the planet of almost familiar, almost comfortable, almost like the world you know. Let Mars show you how almost can be more soothing than exactly, how sleeping in lighter gravity can lift the weight of more than just your body. The sun sets differently here. It's smaller in the sky, about 2/3 the size you're used to, casting a cooler, more distant light across the landscape. As it disappears behind a ridge of ancient rock, the sky doesn't blaze with familiar oranges and reds. Instead, it fades through gentle blues, almost Earth-like, before deepening into a velvet darkness dotted with stars that shine with startling clarity. Your breath forms crystals in the thin air. Well, it would if you weren't safe within your pressurized shelter. Outside, the temperature is plummeting toward -80 degrees Celsius, cold enough to freeze the air itself if there were enough of it. But inside your habitat, warmth radiates from the walls like a gentle embrace, keeping you comfortable as the Martian night unfolds. Step closer to the window of your shelter and look out into the night. The sky has a hazy quality, not from clouds, but from fine particles of iron-rich dust suspended in the thin atmosphere. It's like looking through the gentlest of filters, softening the edges of everything beyond the glass. The air outside is mostly carbon dioxide, 95%, with just traces of nitrogen and argon. The pressure is less than 1% of Earth's, so thin that your blood would literally boil without protection. But here, safely enclosed, you can observe this alien world in comfort. There's something deeply calming about the vast silence beyond these walls. No rustling leaves, no distant traffic, no ocean waves, just stillness. The kind of profound quiet that exists in only a few places in the universe. It's the silence of deep space made tangible, a reminder that you're resting on a world where no Earth creature has ever drawn breath. Yet somehow it doesn't feel hostile. Perhaps it's the familiar length of the day, 24 hours and 39 minutes, so close to home that your body clock barely notices the difference. Or perhaps it's the gentle 25-degree tilt of Mars's axis, creating seasons that mirror Earth's rhythms, just stretched longer across the red planet's nearly 2-year orbit around the Sun.
As you settle onto your sleeping surface, the first thing you notice is how light you feel. Mars's gravity is just 38% of Earth's, which means your 70-kilogram body weighs only about 26 kilograms here. It's not quite floating, but it's close, like resting in warm, shallow water
where the liquid supports most of your weight. Your sleeping arrangement is specially designed for this reduced gravity. Instead of sinking deep into a mattress, you rest on a surface that cradles you gently, preventing the fluid shifts that might otherwise keep you awake. Light straps keep you anchored, not confining, but reassuring, like being wrapped in silk that moves with you as you breathe. The reduced weight takes pressure off your joints and spine. Aches you might carry from Earth simply disappear. Your rib cage expands more easily with each breath. Your heart doesn't have to work quite as hard to pump blood throughout your body. There's something profoundly restful about this lighter existence, as if the planet itself is inviting you to let go of the heaviness you've carried across space. It's strange to imagine, but in this gentler gravity, even the act of breathing becomes a kind of meditation. Each inhalation lifts your chest with less effort. Each exhalation settles you more deeply into rest. Here on Mars, a day is called a sol, and each sol lasts 24 hours and 39 minutes. Your body, evolved for Earth's 24-hour rhythm, finds this extra time surprisingly comfortable. It's as if the universe has given you a few more minutes each day to simply be. The slightly longer day means your natural circadian rhythm can stretch just a little, matching the planet's slower rotation. Research from Earth suggests this might actually improve sleep quality, giving your body more time to complete its natural cycles of rest and restoration. As you lie here in the Martian night, soft lighting in your habitat mimics the planet's natural rhythm. During the day, bright blue-white light kept you alert and energized. Now, as the sol draws to a close, the lights have dimmed to a gentle amber glow, then to the faintest red illumination that won't interfere with your body's production of melatonin. Outside, the night will last about 12 hours, time enough for deep, restorative sleep under alien stars. Your body's internal clock, that ancient timekeeper that evolved under Earth's sun, finds itself surprisingly adaptable to this new rhythm. Sleep comes easier here, perhaps, because the days give you just enough extra time to truly wind down. On Earth, you might sleep 7 to 9 hours a night. But here, with reduced gravity allowing deeper physical rest, and the longer days giving you more time to truly relax, you might find yourself naturally settling into 8 to 9 hours of peaceful slumber. The low gravity means your cardiovascular system doesn't work quite as hard, but it also means your body might take longer to reach the deepest stages of sleep. Researchers have found that astronauts in microgravity often need more sleep than they would on Earth, and Mars's gentle gravity might create a similar effect, though far more comfortable than the weightlessness of space. The isolation and confinement of your habitat, while cozy and safe, might also encourage longer rest periods, like researchers in Antarctica who find themselves sleeping more during the long polar nights. You might discover that Mars invites extended periods of peaceful unconsciousness, not from tiredness, but from the deep contentment of being completely removed from the rushing pace of Earth. There's also something to be said for the psychological rest that comes from being on Mars. The ultimate change of scenery, a world where no human has ever felt stress about deadlines or traffic or social obligations. Here, sleep becomes pure restoration, uncontaminated by the anxieties of home. On the other side of your habitat is the Martian night, brutally cold, -80 to -90 degrees Celsius, cold enough to freeze carbon dioxide from the atmosphere into dry ice, cold enough
to make the rocks themselves contract and crack with sounds like distant thunder. But inside, your habitat maintains a perfect 20 degrees Celsius. The walls are thick with insulation, layers of aerogel and reflective barriers that keep the warmth in and the cosmic cold out. It's like being wrapped in the most advanced blanket ever created, one that uses the entire structure of your shelter to keep you comfortable. The heating system hums so quietly you barely notice it, a gentle white noise that becomes part of the planet's lullaby. Radiant panels in the walls warm you from all sides, creating an even, comfortable temperature that never varies. There are no drafts here, no cold spots, no sudden changes that might wake you from deep sleep. Your personal bedding adds another layer of comfort. Fabrics designed for space travel that regulate temperature and wick moisture away from your skin. They feel impossibly soft against your body, made from materials that would be exotic luxuries on Earth, but are simply necessities here. And there's something deeply comforting about being this protected, like sleeping in the heart of a technological cocoon that keeps you safe from one of the most inhospitable environments in the solar system. The knowledge that you're warm and secure while the Martian night rages silently outside adds a profound sense of peace to your rest.
Step outside in your protective suit and you'd hear almost nothing. The thin atmosphere can carry sound, but just barely. When the wind blows across the ancient craters and dried riverbeds, it makes the faintest whisper, like someone breathing softly in the next room. The sound travels at only 240 meters per second, much slower than on Earth, giving every noise a dreamy, delayed quality. Occasionally, a dust devil might dance across the landscape, creating a gentle whirling sound that rises and falls like a distant sigh. The ground itself sometimes creaks and settles as the extreme temperature changes cause rocks to expand and contract. These sounds are so faint they're almost imagined, like the planet itself murmuring in its sleep. But inside your habitat, you're surrounded by the gentlest mechanical lullaby, the whisper of air circulation, the barely audible hum of life support systems, the occasional soft click of automated systems checking and adjusting your environment. These sounds become deeply comforting, the mechanical heartbeat of your shelter, keeping time with your own biological rhythms. Sometimes, when the night is especially still, you might hear the faint patter of dust against your windows, particles stirred by the thin wind and carried across continents before settling against your shelter like the gentlest rain. It's percussion for a world that has no oceans, no forests, no life, just the slow dance of geology and weather across an ancient landscape. This is the soundtrack of Martian sleep. Not silence, but something deeper. The sound of a world at rest. As you prepare for sleep on Mars, certain rituals naturally emerge, practices that help you connect with this alien world while preparing your body and mind for rest. The Phobos gaze. You position yourself near the main viewing window and watch for Phobos, Mars's larger moon, to rise. This lumpy, potato-shaped satellite is only 22 kilometers across, but it races across the Martian sky, completing an orbit in just 7 2/3 hours. You might see it rise and set 3 times in a single night, a swift celestial companion that provides just enough light to cast the faintest shadows across the red landscape. Watching its passage becomes a meditation, tracking this ancient rock as it hurtles through space just 6,000 kilometers above your head. The dust-veiled drift. After particularly windy days, the atmosphere takes hours to settle, creating a soft, hazy quality to the night sky. You learn to read these moods of Mars. When the air is clear and stars shine sharp as diamonds, and when the dust creates a gentle filter that softens everything beyond your windows. On hazy nights, you practice letting your mind drift with the settled dust, allowing thoughts to slow and settle like particles coming to rest on the ancient plains. The soul sink sip. As the Martian day stretches just 39 minutes longer than Earth's, you develop the habit of savoring a warm drink during those extra minutes, maybe heated water or herbal tea, timing the last sip for the moment when Earth would already be well into night, but Mars is just finishing its extended twilight. It's a small ritual that honors both worlds, acknowledging your human origins while embracing your temporary Martian existence. The crater count. From your shelter, you can see the rim of Jezero crater stretching across the horizon, the ancient impact site where you've chosen to rest. The rim is marked by peaks and valleys that create a distinctive silhouette against the star-filled sky. You begin counting these features like sheep, not to fall asleep quickly, but to familiarize yourself with your new horizon, learning the geography of this place until it becomes as familiar as the view from a childhood bedroom window. These rituals aren't necessary for survival, but they transform a night on Mars from mere endurance into something approaching home.
In your deepest rest, you might find yourself drifting through vast dune seas, endless waves of red sand that shift and flow like a slow-motion ocean. These aren't random fantasies. They're inspired by the very real dust formations that cover much of Mars. Dune fields that stretch for thousands of kilometers, shaped by winds that blow at 30 meters per second during the great storms that sometimes engulf the entire planet. You dream of 2 moons dancing overhead, Phobos and Deimos, locked in their eternal chase across the Martian sky. In your dreams, they're not just rocks tumbling through space, but ancient guardians, silent witnesses to the planet's 4-billion-year history. Sometimes they seem to pulse with faint light. Sometimes they whisper secrets of the solar system's birth in languages older than Earth itself. The dried riverbeds that carve Mars's surface translate into dreams of flowing water. Not the water that once existed here billions of years ago, but dream water that still runs through the imagination of a sleeping human mind. You float down these phantom rivers past cliffs that tower 20 kilometers high, through canyons that make Earth's Grand Canyon look like a scratch in the dirt, riding currents that exist now only in the realm of sleep and memory. Perhaps strangest of all, you dream of storms, not the gentle weather of Earth, but the planet-spanning dust storms of Mars that can last for months, turning the entire world into a swirling mass of suspended particles. In your dreams, you float in the eye of such a storm, surrounded by walls of rust-colored clouds that tower into the thin atmosphere, watching as the dust swirls into spirals that mirror the patterns of distant galaxies. These dreams don't feel alien. They feel like coming home to a place you've never been, but somehow always known. Mars enters your unconscious mind and transforms it into something larger, something that encompasses not just human experience, but the vast, patient experience of planets and moons and the slow dance of worlds around their star. As your time on Mars draws toward its close, as your sleep deepens into the profound rest that only another world can provide, you become aware of something extraordinary. The great silence that surrounds you isn't empty. It's full, pregnant with possibility, dense with the weight of time and space. This is the silence that has existed here for billions of years, broken only by wind and the occasional whisper of dust, the distant rumble of landslides on the slopes of Olympus Mons, the solar system's largest volcano, rising 21 kilometers above the mean surface level. It's the silence that witnessed Mars transform from a world that might have once harbored life into the beautiful, desolate planet you now call your temporary home. Lying here in your shelter, surrounded by the technology that keeps you alive, you're participating in something unprecedented in the history of both worlds. You're the first human dreams on Mars, the first Earth consciousness to rest under these alien stars and awake refreshed by sleep in this gentler gravity. The silence wraps around you like the deepest blanket, not just protecting you from sound, but from the rushing urgency that defines so much of human life. Here, urgency has no meaning. Mars has waited 4 billion years for you to arrive. It can certainly wait until you've had a good night's sleep. Your breathing slows, matches the patient rhythm of the planet itself, the slow rotation that creates the 24-hour and 39-minute day, the gradual orbit that takes almost 2 Earth years to complete 1 Martian year. Time moves differently here, not faster or slower, but with a different quality. The time of geology rather than biology, the time of worlds rather than worries. The red planet's dust settles in your dreams now, iron-rich and ancient, carrying whispers of what Mars once was and might yet become again. As we lift away from its rust-colored embrace, you carry with you proof that home is a feeling, not a place, and that feeling can bloom anywhere the heart chooses to plant it. Ahead, a giant stirs in the darkness, vast beyond imagination, crowned with storms that dwarf worlds, surrounded by dancing moons. Jupiter calls to us with the deep voice of centuries-old hurricanes, promising sleep in the embrace of the solar system's gentle giant.
As we arrive now at the King of Worlds, Jupiter, whose very presence reorganizes space around itself. This is the planet that could swallow all other worlds and still hunger for more, yet chooses instead to protect them with its gravitational embrace. Here, auroras paint the sky in colors Earth has never seen, while gravity pulls you into the deepest rest your bones have ever known. Jupiter doesn't whisper. It speaks in the low, rumbling voice of eternity itself. Prepare to sleep in the arms of a world so vast that weather systems become continents, so ancient that its storms remember the solar system's birth. As we descend through Jupiter's atmosphere, the first thing you notice is how the sky changes. We're heading toward what scientists call the 1-bar level, the place where atmospheric pressure matches what you'd feel standing at sea level on Earth. Here, in this strange middle layer of Jupiter's endless sky, we've built our sleeping quarters, a dome of transparent aluminum floating like a soap bubble in an ocean of clouds. The moment you step inside, you feel it immediately. Something is different about the way your body settles. Your arms feel heavier at your sides. When you sit on the edge of the bed, you sink deeper into the mattress than you expected. This is because Jupiter's gravity pulls at you with 2.5 times the strength of Earth's embrace. A gentle reminder that you are no longer in the world you know. But strangely, this extra weight doesn't feel uncomfortable. Instead, it's like being wrapped in the most secure blanket you've ever known, as if the planet itself is holding you, preventing you from floating away into the cosmic dark. Every step you take feels deliberate, grounded, purposeful. Looking out through our dome's curved walls, Jupiter's nighttime reveals itself slowly. The sky isn't black like Earth's night. Instead, it glows with a deep, ethereal blue, the result of hydrogen and helium molecules scattering the faint light that filters down from above. It's like being underwater in the deepest ocean where only the bluest light can reach. The temperature outside our protective bubble hovers at 108 degrees below 0 Celsius, cold enough to freeze the air you breathe in seconds. But inside our floating sanctuary, the air is warm and still, heated by the same fusion reactors that power our journey between the worlds. Through the gentle blue haze, you can see other clouds drifting past, some close enough to touch, others floating like distant islands in this aerial sea. The horizon seems impossibly far away, curving downward into bands of deeper color that stretch beyond imagination. And then, just when you think you've adjusted to this alien twilight, the auroras begin. Jupiter's auroras are nothing like the northern lights you might have seen on Earth. These are curtains of energy that stretch across thousands of kilometers, pulsing with ultraviolet and infrared light that our dome's sensors translate into visible colors. Sheets of green and violet and gold dance overhead, powered by Jupiter's magnetic field, a force 16 to 54 times stronger than Earth's. These lights don't just flicker and fade like earthly auroras. They are constant, eternal, painting the sky in slow, hypnotic rhythms that could lull you to sleep just by watching. The patterns shift and breathe like living things, creating a natural planetarium that no human eyes have ever seen before tonight. And then, scattered among these dancing lights, you notice 4 bright points that don't twinkle like stars. These are Jupiter's largest moons: Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. From here, Io appears almost 2.5 degrees across in the sky, 5 times wider than our moon looks from Earth, shining with the brightness of Venus
on a clear summer evening. One of the strangest things about sleeping on Jupiter is how quickly night turns to day and back to night again. This giant world spins so fast that a complete day lasts only 9 hours and 56 minutes. By the time you've had a full night's sleep on Earth, you would have experienced 2 complete day-night cycles here. This creates an interesting challenge for human sleep. Our bodies are designed for Earth's 24-hour rhythm, not Jupiter's rapid spinning. So instead of trying to sleep for one long stretch, we adapt, taking short naps every 5 hours, synchronized with the planet's rotation, with one longer rest period when our circadian rhythms naturally call for deeper sleep. It's like being on a ship that rocks not back and forth, but through cycles of light and darkness, each wave lasting exactly 10 hours. Your body learns to ride these waves, taking rest when rest is offered, staying alert when alertness serves you. Scientists who have studied sleep in extreme environments, on research stations in Antarctica, aboard submarines beneath the ocean, even on the International Space Station, have found that humans are remarkably adaptable. We can learn to sleep anywhere as long as we feel safe and maintain our rituals of rest.
When you finally lie down in your specially designed bed, the extra gravity of Jupiter becomes a blessing rather than a burden. The mattress is made of layers of gel and memory foam designed to distribute your increased weight evenly across your body. As you settle in, it feels like sinking into the most comfortable cloud. Supportive yet yielding, firm yet soft. Your arms and legs feel pleasantly heavy against the bedding. There's no tossing and turning here. Jupiter's pull keeps you nestled in place, creating a sensation of being cradled by the planet itself. Some visitors describe it as the most secure they've ever felt, held by a force so vast and ancient that it makes all earthly worries seem small and far away. The bed is enclosed in a cocoon of warmth, insulated from the bitter cold just meters away. Heated air circulates gently around you, carrying no scent. For in Jupiter's hydrogen atmosphere, there are no familiar smells. No flowers or ocean brine or forest earth, just the clean, neutral air that your life support systems provide. Outside our habitat, the cold is beyond imagination. But inside, wrapped in our technological blanket, the temperature holds steady at a comfortable 22 degrees Celsius. The contrast creates an interesting sensation. You can see your breath fog slightly against the inner surface of the dome's wall, a reminder of how thin the barrier is between comfort and the hostile environment beyond. This temperature gradient becomes part of the sleeping experience. You pull your covers up not just for warmth, but for the psychological comfort of creating layers between yourself and the infinite cold of space. The blankets are made of aerogel quilts, materials so advanced they feel like touching captured starlight, light as whispers, yet warm as summer afternoons. Your pillow is heated gently from within, keeping your head comfortable as you gaze up through the dome at the auroral displays above. The slight warmth against your neck and ears becomes a focal point of comfort, an anchor of familiar sensation in this most unfamiliar place.
What would you expect to hear on a world of eternal storms? The answer might surprise you. Despite the massive tempests that rage through Jupiter's atmosphere, winds that can reach over 500 meters per second, faster than the most powerful hurricanes on Earth, the sound that reaches your floating bedroom is surprisingly gentle. Jupiter's atmosphere carries sound differently than Earth's air. The mixture of hydrogen and helium creates acoustic conditions where sound travels faster but fades more quickly. The result is that the tremendous storms below reach you as a very soft, low rumble, like distant thunder that never quite arrives, or the sound of ocean waves heard from far inland. Occasionally, you might hear a subtle vibration transmitted through the habitat structure, the signature of a lightning bolt thousands of kilometers away, or the acoustic echo of colliding storm systems in the bands below. These sounds don't disturb your rest. Instead, they become part of Jupiter's lullaby, a reminder that you are sleeping on a world that is very much alive, where weather systems the size of Earth itself dance in slow, eternal rhythms. The silence between these gentle sounds is profound. No birds, no insects, no rustling leaves or distant traffic. Just the quiet hum of your life support systems and the soft whisper of recycled air. It's the kind of silence that makes you aware of your own heartbeat, your own breathing, connecting you to the basic rhythms of being alive in the cosmos.
Before settling into Jupiter's embrace for the night, you might find comfort in rituals that connect you to this alien world. These practices, developed by the first visitors to Jupiter, help transform the strange into the sacred, the foreign into the familiar. The Aurora Meditation. As you prepare for sleep, spend a few minutes simply watching the auroras dance overhead. Let your breathing synchronize with their slow pulsing. Imagine that these lights are the planet's way of breathing, inhaling solar wind and magnetic energy, exhaling beauty and wonder. As the colors shift from green to violet to gold, feel your own thoughts shifting from the active patterns of waking life to the gentle flows of approaching sleep. Moonrise Gratitude. Each of Jupiter's 4 largest moons has its own orbital period, Io completing a circuit every 42 hours, Europa every 85 hours, Ganymede every 171 hours, and distant Callisto taking 408 hours to return to the same position in the sky. As you watch these bright points move slowly across the star field, reflect on something you're grateful for from your day. Let each moon carry away a worry or concern, leaving you lighter and more at peace. Storm Whisper Counting. Instead of counting sheep, count the gentle rumbles that rise from Jupiter's weather systems far below. Each distant thunder becomes a number in your countdown to sleep. 50 storms, 49 storms, 48 storms, letting the planet's own rhythm guide you into rest. Imagine each storm as a wave in an ocean of clouds, rocking your floating bedroom like a cradle suspended between earth and sky. The Gravity Embrace Ritual. Before lying down, stand in the center of your sleeping space and feel Jupiter's pull on every part of your body. Raise your arms slowly above your head, feeling the extra weight, then lower them gradually to your sides. This simple exercise helps you connect with the planet's gravity, not as a burden, but as an embrace, a reminder that you are held safely in the cosmic dance, unable to drift away into the void. As you perform these movements, imagine roots of energy extending downward through the clouds, connecting you to Jupiter's deep atmosphere, its metallic hydrogen core, its ancient magnetic field. You are not floating alone in space. You are nested in the gravitational embrace of the largest planet in our solar system. When sleep finally comes on Jupiter, it brings dreams unlike any you've known on Earth. The combination of altered gravity, the rapid day-night cycle, and the constant, subtle presence of the auroras creates a unique mental landscape for the sleeping mind. You might dream of becoming one with the Great Red Spot, that massive storm that has raged for over 350 years. In your dream, you are not destroyed by its winds, but transformed into part of its eternal dance, swirling through clouds of ammonia ice and water vapor, seeing the solar system from the perspective of a storm that is larger than Earth itself. Or perhaps you dream of the diamond rain that may fall in Jupiter's deeper layers, where pressure and heat compress carbon into precious gems that tumble through the metallic hydrogen sea far below. In this dream, you swim through cascades of crystal and beauty, each diamond catching and reflecting the light of Jupiter's auroras in infinite prisms of color. Some visitors report dreams of dancing with Jupiter's moons, orbiting in the cosmic ballet where Io's sulfur geysers paint yellow trails across space, where Europa's hidden ocean whispers secrets through its icy crust, where Ganymede's magnetic field creates a protective bubble within Jupiter's radiation, where ancient Callisto holds memories of the solar system's violent birth. These dreams feel more vivid than Earth dreams, perhaps because of the way Jupiter's magnetic field interacts with the electrical patterns in your sleeping brain, or because sleeping on an alien world opens doorways in consciousness that normally remain closed. When you wake, you carry with you not just memories of these dreams, but a deep sense of having touched something vast and ancient and beautiful.
As the hours pass and Jupiter's rapid day-night cycle continues its rhythm around you, your body settles into patterns of rest that seem perfectly adapted to this alien world. The extra gravity that felt strange at first becomes a comforting constant, holding you securely against your bed as the planet spins beneath you. The temperature remains steady in your protective cocoon, but you become aware of subtle changes in the auroral displays overhead. Sometimes they brighten, casting enough light to read by. Sometimes they dim to barely visible whispers of color. These changes become part of your sleep rhythm, your brain learning to associate the brighter displays with lighter sleep phases, the dimmer periods with deeper rest. In the deepest phases of sleep, you become part of Jupiter's own dreams. You feel the planet's rotation as a gentle rocking motion, its magnetic field as a protective embrace, its storms as the slow breathing of a living world. Time moves differently here, not just because of the shorter days, but because you are connected to geological time, to the patient rhythms of a world that has existed for 4.5 billion years. Your dreams become memories of Jupiter's formation, the gravitational collapse of hydrogen and helium in the early solar system, the capture of its many moons, the sculpting of its bands and zones by Coriolis forces and convection currents. You sleep not just as a human visitor, but as part of the planet's own consciousness,
sharing in its ancient awareness of the cosmos. When you begin to stir from sleep, the first sensation is always the gravity. Your arms feel pleasantly heavy as you stretch them above your head. Your legs sink deeply into the mattress as you shift position. But instead of feeling groggy or disoriented, you feel remarkably rested, as if Jupiter's powerful gravitational field has somehow organized your sleep more efficiently than Earth's gentler pull ever could. The auroras are still dancing overhead, though their patterns have shifted during your rest. Io has moved to a new position in the sky, its bright disk now casting faint shadows through the dome's structure. The storm whispers from below continue their gentle rumble, a constant reminder that you are sleeping on a world where weather operates on scales that dwarf anything Earth can produce. As you sit up slowly, accommodating the extra weight of your body, you realize that sleeping on Jupiter has changed something fundamental in your relationship with gravity, with scale, with your own place in the cosmic order. You have rested in the embrace of the largest planet in our solar system, dreamed its ancient dreams, and awakened as someone who has touched the infinite and found it surprisingly gentle. Jupiter's magnitude becomes part of you now, the understanding that vastness and gentleness can coexist, that the largest embrace can also be the most tender. As we spiral away from the giant's domain, you carry with you the deep gravitational peace that only comes from resting in the arms of a world that reshapes reality simply by existing. But even greater beauty awaits, a world that wears rings like a cosmic crown, where golden light filters through eternal haze. Saturn calls across the void with the patient voice of geometric perfection, promising sleep beneath the most magnificent sight in all the solar system.
As we reach perfection made manifest, Saturn, the jewel of our cosmic neighborhood, no words can prepare you for the sight of those rings arcing across infinity, catching starlight and transforming it into something that exists beyond beauty, beyond wonder, in realms that touch the soul directly. This is the world that teaches us that mathematics can be poetry, that chaos can create perfect order, that the most elaborate beauty in our solar system arose not from design, but from the patient dance of gravity and time. Here, beneath ring light that has fallen steadily for millions of years, you'll discover sleep illuminated by ancient ice, dreams crowned with geometric storms, rest that connects you to the fundamental harmonies of existence itself. As we descend through Saturn's atmosphere toward our floating sanctuary, the first thing that strikes you is the color of the sky. Unlike Earth's familiar blue or Jupiter's deeper azure, Saturn's atmosphere glows with a warm golden honey light. This beautiful hue comes from the way sunlight interacts with methane in the upper atmosphere, absorbing red wavelengths and leaving behind this soft amber radiance that seems to emanate from everywhere at once. Our habitat floats at the 1 bar level, that magical place in Saturn's atmosphere where the pressure matches what you'd feel at sea level on Earth. Here, suspended in this golden ocean of hydrogen and helium, we've created a transparent dome that serves as your bedroom among the clouds. Through its curved walls, you can see layers of haze drifting past like ethereal curtains, sometimes thick enough to obscure the view, sometimes clearing to reveal the incredible architecture of the rings arcing overhead. The temperature outside hovers at 139 degrees below 0 Celsius, cold enough to freeze the air in your lungs in seconds.
But inside your protective bubble, the air is warm and still, heated by the same fusion technology that powers humanity's journey between worlds. The contrast creates a cozy intimacy, like being wrapped in the warmest blanket while watching snowfall outside a winter window. But what makes Saturn's night truly magical is the light from the rings themselves. As darkness falls and the distant sun dims to little more than a bright star, the rings continue to glow with their own soft radiance. These countless billions of ice particles, some as small as snowflakes, others as large as mountains, catch and reflect even the faintest light, creating what astronomers call ring shine. This ring light is gentle and diffuse, providing just enough illumination to navigate your floating bedroom, about as bright as Earth's sky during the deepest twilight. It's not steady like artificial lighting, but varies in subtle waves as the ring particles shift and tumble in their eternal dance around the planet. Sometimes the glow brightens as you pass beneath a denser section of rings. Sometimes it dims as gaps between ring segments slide overhead like cosmic windows opening and closing. Through the golden haze of Saturn's atmosphere, you can also catch glimpses of the planet's moons. Titan, the largest, appears as a bright orange point in the sky, almost a full degree across, twice as large as our moon appears from Earth. Even through Saturn's thick atmospheric haze, Titan shines with the warm light of a distant lantern, its orange glow a result of the complex organic chemistry happening in its own dense atmosphere. Other moons appear as bright pinpricks scattered across the sky, Enceladus gleaming like a diamond with the light reflected from its icy surface. Mimas and Tethys and Dione, each adding their own gentle contribution to the soft illumination that surrounds you in this aerial sanctuary. One of the most remarkable aspects of sleeping on Saturn is discovering how similar its day-night rhythm is to Earth's, yet subtly different in ways that affect your sleep patterns in unexpected ways. Saturn spins once on its axis every 10.5 hours, creating days that are less than half the length of Earth's familiar 24-hour cycle. This means that by the time you would normally complete one night's sleep on Earth, you will have experienced more than 2 complete day-night cycles on Saturn. The sun rises, arcs quickly across the golden sky, sets behind the ring shadows, and rises again before your body has completed its natural sleep rhythm. At first, this rapid cycling might seem disruptive, and indeed your circadian rhythms, evolved over millions of years to match Earth's rotation, struggle to adapt to Saturn's hurried pace. But there's something oddly comforting about it too. Instead of sleeping for one long stretch, you find yourself naturally adopting what researchers call a polyphasic sleep pattern. Short naps synchronized with Saturn's rotation, punctuated by longer rest periods when your body truly craves deep sleep. It's like being gently rocked by the planet itself, each rapid day-night cycle a gentle wave in the ocean of time, helping you drift between wakefulness and dreams in a rhythm that feels both ancient and new.
When you finally settled into your specially designed bed, Saturn's gravity becomes a blessing rather than a challenge. At just 1.065 times Earth's pull, it's barely noticeable as an increase, like wearing a slightly heavier blanket, or like the gentle pressure of a partner's arm across your chest as you sleep. Your body sinks into the gel foam mattress just a little deeper than it would on Earth, creating a sensation of being cradled rather than crushed,
Unlike Jupiter's overwhelming embrace, Saturn's gravity feels familiar, comforting, secure. You can turn in your sleep without effort, adjust your position naturally, and wake without the heavy feeling that comes from sleeping in much stronger gravitational fields. The bed itself is a marvel of engineering, designed to take advantage of Saturn's unique environment. The mattress incorporates layers that respond to the slight pressure changes as Saturn's winds rock your floating habitat, automatically adjusting firmness and support to keep you comfortable even as the platform gently sways in the atmospheric currents. Above you, through the transparent ceiling of your dome, the rings cast ever-shifting patterns of light and shadow. Sometimes they align to create dramatic bands of darkness across the golden sky. Other times they spread their glow evenly, bathing your sleeping space in the softest possible nightlight, a cosmic lullaby of light that changes slowly enough to be soothing, yet never quite the same from moment to moment. The contrast between Saturn's bitter cold and your habitat's warmth becomes part of the sleeping experience. Outside, the temperature is so extreme that the hydrogen and helium atmosphere would condense to liquid if it could get any colder. But inside your protective cocoon, the temperature holds steady at a comfortable 22 degrees Celsius. This extreme gradient creates interesting effects you can observe as you settle in for sleep. Your breath creates no fog against the inner walls of the dome. The environmental systems are too efficient for that. But you can see the effects of the cold in the way ice crystals form and disappear on the outer surface of your habitat as it moves through clouds of water vapor at different temperatures. The bedding itself becomes a crucial part of staying comfortable in this environment. Your blankets are made of advanced aerogel materials that feel impossibly light, yet provide extraordinary insulation. They seem to weigh almost nothing in Saturn's gentle gravity, yet they trap your body heat so effectively that you feel wrapped in captured sunshine. Some visitors describe the sensation as sleeping inside a cloud that has been warmed by starlight. Light enough to feel like you're floating, warm enough to feel completely secure, yet substantial enough to provide the psychological comfort of being covered and protected from the hostile environment just meters away. What sounds would you expect to hear on a planet famous for its rings and storms? Saturn's acoustic environment might surprise you. Despite the massive wind systems that rage through its atmosphere, streams of gas moving at hundreds of meters per second, the sounds that reach your floating bedroom are surprisingly gentle. Saturn's dense hydrogen-helium atmosphere carries sound well, but the storms that create Saturn's weather happen far below your floating position. What reaches you is a soft, constant background whisper, like the sound of distant wind through trees or waves on a far-off shore. It's not loud enough to disturb sleep, but present enough to prevent the unsettling, complete silence that some people find disturbing. Occasionally, you might hear a deeper rumble transmitted through the habitat structure, the acoustic signature of one of Saturn's massive storm systems, perhaps the famous hexagonal storm at the planet's north pole, a weather pattern so large and persistent that it could swallow multiple Earths. But these sounds arrive as gentle vibrations, more felt than heard, like sleeping in a house near a distant waterfall. The rings themselves are acoustically silent from your position. They're too far away and made of particles too small to create sounds you could hear. But sometimes, the planet's magnetosphere,
Its magnetic field interacting with charged particles from the solar wind creates radio emissions that your habitat systems can convert to audible tones. These Saturn songs become part of the planet's unique lullaby, electronic whispers that speak of magnetic fields and solar weather in frequencies that somehow seem perfectly suited for drifting off to sleep.
As you prepare for sleep in Saturn's golden embrace, you might find comfort in rituals that connect you to this most beautiful of worlds. These practices, developed by the first visitors to Saturn, help transform the alien into the familiar, the vast into the intimate. Ring light meditation. Before settling into bed, spend a few minutes simply watching the ring's soft glow filter through Saturn's atmospheric haze. Let your breathing synchronize with the gentle shifts in brightness as ring particles catch and release starlight. Imagine that this soft radiance is Saturn's way of saying goodnight to all the worlds that orbit it, a gentle blessing of light that has been falling on these rings for billions of years, now falling on you as well. As you watch, you begin to notice patterns in the ring light that weren't visible at first glance. Subtle waves of brightness that correspond to the density variations in the rings themselves. The Cassini division creating a dark band across the light, the thousands of individual ringlets each contributing their own thread to this tapestry of illumination. Let these patterns guide your eyes into the soft focus that precedes sleep. Cloud drift meditation. Saturn's atmospheric currents create a constant, gentle motion in your floating habitat, not enough to be uncomfortable, but just enough to create the sensation of being rocked in a cosmic cradle. Instead of fighting this motion, learn to flow with it. Let your body relax into the gentle sway, feeling how Saturn's winds are literally carrying you toward sleep. Imagine that you are not just floating in Saturn's atmosphere, but becoming part of it, drifting with the golden haze, your breathing synchronized with the planet's own atmospheric rhythms. This practice helps some visitors overcome the initial disorientation of sleeping on a world where the very air is in constant motion, transforming it instead into a natural lullaby. Aurora Whisper Practice. While Saturn's auroras are not as dramatic as Jupiter's, they exist nonetheless, invisible to human eyes but detectable by the sensitive instruments built into your habitat. These instruments can translate the auroral activity into gentle sounds, whispers and chimes that rise and fall with the magnetic activity around Saturn's poles. As you lie in bed, listening to these translated auroras, hum softly along with their rhythms. Your voice becomes part of Saturn's magnetic song, connecting you to the vast energy systems that surround this ringed world. Some visitors report that this practice leads to unusually vivid dreams of flying through space, guided by invisible currents of magnetic force. Titan Rise Tea Ceremony. Saturn's largest moon, Titan, has an orbital period that makes it visible above the horizon for several hours during each of its 16-day cycles around the planet. When Titan is visible through your dome's walls, its orange light creates a perfect opportunity for a pre-sleep ritual. Prepare a warm beverage, perhaps something with honey or amber flavors that complement Saturn's golden atmosphere, and sip it slowly while watching Titan's orange glow. This moon, with its thick atmosphere and methane lakes, represents one of the most Earth-like worlds in our solar system, yet also one of the most alien. Let the paradox of Titan, familiar yet strange, nearby yet unreachable,
guide your thoughts toward the edge of dreams. Haze veil visualization. Saturn's atmospheric haze, which gives the planet its characteristic golden glow, can also serve as a powerful tool for relaxation. As you lie in bed, imagine drawing this golden haze around yourself like the softest possible blanket, a veil of amber light that separates you from all the concerns and stresses of daily life. Visualize this haze growing thicker and more comforting with each breath until you are completely surrounded by Saturn's golden embrace. Let any worries or anxious thoughts dissolve into this haze, carried away by Saturn's winds to disappear into the vast atmosphere that surrounds you. What remains is only warmth, only peace, only the gentle preparation for dreams. When sleep finally comes beneath Saturn's ring-lit sky, it brings dreams unlike you've experienced on other worlds. The combination of the gentle gravity, the ever-shifting ring light, and the subtle motion of your floating habitat creates a unique mental landscape for the sleeping mind. You might dream of swimming through the rings themselves, diving between countless billions of ice particles, each one catching and reflecting starlight like a crystalline fish in an infinite cosmic ocean. In this dream, the rings are not distant and untouchable, but a three-dimensional playground where you can float weightlessly through corridors of ancient ice, following shepherding moons as they carve gaps and maintain the delicate structure of Saturn's crown. Or perhaps you dream of the hexagonal storm at Saturn's North Pole, that mysterious weather pattern that has maintained its six-sided shape for decades, defying everything we thought we knew about fluid dynamics. In your dream, you become part of this storm, not destroyed by its winds, but transformed into one of its currents, helping to weave the geometric patterns that have puzzled scientists since the Voyager spacecraft first glimpsed them in the 1980s. Some visitors report dreams of descending into Saturn's depths, where pressure and heat might create the diamond rain that scientists speculate could fall in the planet's interior layers. In these dreams, you witness the transformation of methane into carbon, then carbon into diamond, the gems falling like glittering snow through layers of metallic hydrogen toward a core that might be made of rock and ice, or might be something else entirely, something that has never existed anywhere in the universe. Other dreams involve Titan and the other moons, exploring Titan's methane lakes and ethane rivers, skating on Enceladus's ice geysers, or standing on the surface of tiny Mimas, looking up at Saturn filling half the sky with its rings edge-on, like an impossibly thin line drawn across the star field. These dreams feel more vivid than Earth dreams, perhaps because of the way Saturn's magnetic field interacts with the electrical patterns in your sleeping brain, or perhaps because sleeping beneath alien skies opens doorways in consciousness that remain closed in more familiar environments. When you wake, you carry with you not just memories of these dreams, but a profound sense of having touched something ancient and beautiful and eternal.
As Saturn's rapid day-night cycles continue their rhythm around you, your body gradually adapts to a new pattern of rest. The short nights, only about 5 hours of darkness in each 10.5-hour rotation, encourage shorter but deeper sleep cycles, punctuated by periods of quiet wakefulness, during which you can watch the ever-changing patterns of ring light on the ceiling above you. This polyphasic sleep pattern, far from being disruptive, begins to feel natural after the first few cycles.
you learn to treasure the brief periods of wakefulness between sleep phases, using them to observe the subtle changes in Saturn's sky, to watch Titan move across its orbit, to listen to the gentle sounds of the planet's atmospheric music. The ring light itself becomes a sleep aid unlike any Earth has to offer. Its soft, consistent glow is bright enough to provide a sense of security and orientation, but dim enough not to interfere with the production of melatonin. The gradual changes in brightness and pattern as different sections of the rings pass overhead create a visual rhythm that seems perfectly designed to encourage the transition between sleep stages. During the deepest phases of sleep, you become aware of Saturn's rotation as a gentle rocking motion, the planet's rapid spin creating a subtle centrifugal force that adds to the sensation of being cradled in cosmic arms. The magnetic field that creates the auroras seems to resonate with your brain's electrical activity, leading to sleep that feels not just restful, but somehow harmonious with the fundamental forces of the universe. Your dreams during these deep sleep phases often involve the rings on a molecular level, visions of water ice crystallizing in the cold of space, of gravitational forces shaping billions of particles into perfect geometrical patterns, of the delicate balance between creation and destruction that maintains the ring's structure across millions of years. When you begin to stir from sleep beneath Saturn's rings, the first sensation is always the light. Even before you open your eyes, you're aware of the soft golden glow that permeates your sleeping space, warmer and more welcoming than sunlight, more mysterious and beautiful than moonlight. As you stretch in Saturn's gentle gravity, your body feels refreshed but not heavy, rested but not sluggish. The slight increase in gravitational pull seems to have organized your sleep more efficiently, leading to dreams that feel more memorable and rest that feels more complete than what you typically experience on Earth. Opening your eyes, you see that the pattern of ring shadows has shifted during your sleep. What were bright bands of light when you went to sleep might now be areas of gentle shadow, and what were darker regions might now glow with ring shine. These changes create a natural clock, helping you orient yourself in Saturn's rapid day-night cycle without needing to check any artificial timepiece. Titan has moved in its orbit, perhaps disappearing behind Saturn's bulk or emerging from behind the planet's edge to cast its orange glow across your dome once again. The other moons have shifted their positions too, creating a new constellation of bright points against the golden haze of Saturn's atmospheric glow. As you sit up slowly in the gentle gravity, you realize that sleeping on Saturn has changed something fundamental in your relationship with time, with light, with the very concept of what constitutes a natural sleep cycle. You have learned to rest in rhythm with the most beautiful planet in our solar system, to dream beneath rings of ancient ice, and to wake in light that has traveled nearly 1.5 billion kilometers from our sun, only to be transformed into something magical by Saturn's unique atmospheric chemistry.
During your time on Saturn, you become aware of the planet's most mysterious feature, the massive hexagonal storm system that dominates its North Pole. This six-sided weather pattern, larger than two Earths placed side by side, has maintained its geometric shape for decades, creating one of the most perfect examples of natural geometry anywhere in the solar system. From your position floating in Saturn's equatorial regions, you can't see the hexagon directly, but you can feel its influence in subtle ways. The atmospheric currents that maintain your habitat's position are part of the same system of winds that create and sustain this geometric storm system. In a very real sense, you are sleeping within the influence of one of the most beautiful and mysterious phenomena in our solar system. Some nights, as you lie listening to the translated sounds of Saturn's radio emissions, you can hear what scientists call the hexagon songs, changes in electromagnetic activity that seem to correspond to fluctuations in the geometric storm system. These sounds, converted from radio waves to audible frequencies, create an otherworldly music that seems to speak of mathematical perfection hidden within the chaos of atmospheric dynamics. The hexagon becomes a meditation focus for some visitors, a reminder that even in the apparent randomness of gas giant weather systems, there are underlying patterns of incredible beauty and precision. As you drift towards sleep, you might imagine yourself as part of this pattern, not just floating in Saturn's atmosphere, but contributing to the delicate balance of forces that maintains one of the solar system's greatest mysteries. But even the most beautiful dreams must end, and even the most comfortable beds cannot hold us forever. As you prepare to leave Saturn's golden embrace, you take one last long look at the rings arcing overhead, those ancient bands of ice and rock that have inspired human wonder since Galileo first glimpsed them through his simple telescope over 4 centuries ago. You realize that you will carry something of Saturn with you always now, the memory of sleeping beneath the most beautiful sight in our solar system, the understanding that even in the depths of space there can be gentle comfort and familiar rhythms, the knowledge that rest is possible anywhere in the cosmos as long as we remain open to new definitions of home and sanctuary. The ring light has become part of your personal definition of what constitutes a perfect night sky. You have learned that darkness is not necessary for rest, that sometimes the most peaceful sleep comes beneath a gentle glow that connects you to something vast and ancient and beautiful. You have discovered that gravity need not be a burden, that the right amount of gravitational embrace can enhance rather than hinder the quality of sleep. As your transport begins to carry you away from the floating dome, away from the golden haze and the ring shadows and the soft whispers of Saturn's atmospheric music, you feel not sadness at leaving, but gratitude for having experienced something so rare and beautiful. You have slept beneath the rings of Saturn, witnessed auroras invisible to human eyes, listened to the songs of magnetic fields, and dreamed dreams illuminated by the light of ancient ice. The rings continue their eternal dance as you depart, unchanged by your brief visit, yet somehow more meaningful for having provided the backdrop to your dreams. Their light continues to fall on Saturn's golden clouds, just as it has for billions of years, just as it will for billions more. A constant, gentle benediction falling on anyone fortunate enough to rest beneath Saturn's magnificent crown. As Saturn's golden light begins to fade behind us, something changes in the quality of space itself. We've shared in the ancient rhythm of this ringed world, felt the gentle cradle of its gravity, and discovered that even in the vast emptiness between worlds, beauty can create sanctuary. The rings continue their eternal dance as we depart, their ice particles catching the last glimpses of reflected sunlight, sending a farewell that will travel across the cosmos long after we've moved on. Saturn's gift was not just rest, but the knowledge that elegance and grace exist on scales we can barely comprehend. But now, the universe calls us toward something unprecedented, toward a world that chose to defy every rule of planetary behavior, where the very concepts of up and down become meaningless, where seasons unfold across decades, and where the night sky follows no earthly logic. In the growing darkness ahead, Uranus waits, the ice giant that lies on its side, rolling through space like a cosmic wheel, promising sleep unlike anywhere else in the known universe.
What happens when a world refuses to follow the rules? Deep in the outer darkness, nearly 2 billion miles from the warmth of our sun, spins a planet that decided to be different from every other world we know. This is Uranus, the sideways giant, the cosmic rebel, the ice world that chose to lie down and roll through space like no other. Now, we're venturing into truly alien territory, where the very idea of normal loses all meaning. Imagine approaching a world wrapped in the deepest blue-green mystery, where aurora light dances to rhythms that follow no earthly pattern, where one day lasts 17 hours, but some nights can stretch for decades. As we drift toward this tilted sanctuary, you'll notice something remarkable happening to your sense of direction. Here, where the planet spins on its side at a 97-degree angle, the concepts of north and south, up and down, become fluid suggestions rather than fixed realities. It's disorienting at first, then surprisingly liberating, as if the universe is inviting you to let go of old assumptions about how worlds should behave. This is where we'll discover what it means to sleep in the embrace of a world that dances to its own cosmic rhythm. Your first glimpse of Uranus reveals something immediately unsettling and beautiful. This planet doesn't spin like Earth, standing upright with its poles pointing roughly north and south. Instead, Uranus rolls along its orbital path, its axis tilted at nearly 98 degrees, lying on its side like a marble rolling along an invisible table. What this means for someone trying to sleep here is extraordinary. Depending on where Uranus is in its 84-year journey around the Sun, you might find yourself in a region experiencing 42 years of continuous daylight, or 42 years of unbroken darkness. Tonight, you're fortunate to be in an equatorial region during a transitional season, where day and night still alternate, though in a rhythm unlike anywhere else. The planet beneath your floating habitat glows with a deep, ethereal blue. This isn't the blue of water or sky as we know it, but the blue of methane, tiny particles in the atmosphere that absorb red light and scatter blue wavelengths back toward your eyes, as if the entire world had been painted with the deepest ocean colors, a sphere of blue mystery suspended in the cosmic dark.
Your habitat drifts gently in Uranus's upper atmosphere, anchored at the level where pressure equals 1 bar, the same atmospheric pressure you knew on Earth's surface. Here, floating in this twilight realm between the planet's solid core and the emptiness of space above, you're suspended in a cocoon of technology that keeps you safe while allowing you to witness one of the most unusual nights in the solar system. The air around your habitat, if you could call it air, is nothing like what sustained life on Earth. 83% hydrogen, 15% helium, and just over 2% methane. It's more like breathing liquid starlight than anything terrestrial. The pressure outside your protective shell equals Earth's atmosphere at sea level, but the composition would be instantly lethal to unprotected human life. Yet there's something deeply peaceful about floating in this alien medium. Your habitat moves with the currents of Uranus's atmosphere, drifting with winds that can reach 250 meters per second, faster than the strongest hurricanes on Earth. But inside your protective bubble, you feel only the gentlest swaying, like being rocked in a cosmic cradle suspended between the planet's mysterious depths and the star-filled void above. The light environment here challenges everything your eyes have learned to expect. With the sun nearly 20 astronomical units away, sunlight arrives with less than 1% of Earth's intensity. During the day, this world barely receives more illumination than Earth gets from a full moon. At night, the darkness is profound, deeper than the bottom of Earth's deepest ocean, broken only by the faint, irregular glow of auroras that dance according to rules written by Uranus's tilted and offset magnetic field. These auroras don't behave like Earth's northern lights. Instead of forming neat ovals around the magnetic poles, Uranus's auroras appear as scattered, shifting patches of ultraviolet and infrared glow, visible to your enhanced sensors as ghostly curtains that seem to follow their own mysterious choreography. They provide just enough light to remind you that you're not floating in empty space, but resting in the embrace of a living, breathing world. Surprisingly, wonderfully, the gravity here feels almost like home. At 8.69 meters per second squared, Uranus pulls on your 70-kilogram body with a force of about 608 newtons, nearly 90% of what you experienced on Earth. After the reduced gravity of Mars or the crushing weight you might feel on more massive worlds, this feels like a gentle homecoming. Your sleeping arrangement takes advantage of this near-Earth gravity while accommodating the unique conditions of your floating habitat. The bed beneath you provides just enough support to prevent pressure points while allowing your body to settle into the familiar rhythms of terrestrial rest. There's no need for the elaborate restraint systems that space travel requires. No straps or magnetic anchors, just a simple, comfortable surface that lets gravity do what billions of years of evolution have trained your body to expect. The slight reduction in weight, that missing 14%, manifests as a subtle lightness that seems to ease every joint and muscle. Your spine decompresses just a little more than it would on Earth. Your breathing comes just a fraction easier. Your heart pumps blood through your circulatory system with just a slightly less effort. It's not dramatic enough to cause the fluid shifts and sleep disruptions that plague astronauts in microgravity, but it's noticeable enough to feel like a gentle gift, as if the universe has decided to make your rest just a little more comfortable.
As your habitat sways gently in the atmospheric currents, the motion is so subtle that it enhances rather than disrupts your rest, like sleeping on a boat anchored in a calm harbor, or resting in a hammock that moves just enough to remind you that you're being held and cradled, protected by technology and physics working in perfect harmony.
Time moves strangely on Uranus. The planet completes one rotation in just 17 hours and 14 minutes, but because of its extreme tilt, the concept of day and night becomes almost meaningless depending on where you are and what season it happens to be. Here, in your equatorial position during the transitional season, you experience something closer to a normal day-night cycle, though compressed into that 17-hour period. But your habitat's life support systems have made a crucial decision. Rather than forcing your human biology to adapt to this alien rhythm, they maintain an artificial 24-hour cycle using carefully controlled lighting. During your habitat's day, bright, full-spectrum lights flood your living space, not quite matching the intensity of Earth's sunlight, but providing enough illumination to keep your circadian rhythms stable. Blue-enriched wavelengths help maintain your body's natural production of hormones and neurotransmitters, keeping you alert and oriented, despite being nearly 2 billion kilometers from the sun that once regulated all human activity. As your artificial evening approaches, the lights gradually dim and shift toward warmer, redder wavelengths, mimicking a sunset that might take hours to unfold. Eventually, they fade to the faintest red glow, just enough to navigate your habitat without disrupting your body's nighttime chemistry. Outside, the real Uranian night may be lit by auroral glows and the faint reflection of distant moons. But inside, your environment creates the conditions your human biology needs for deep, restorative sleep. It's strange to imagine maintaining Earth time while floating in the atmosphere of a planet that experiences seasons lasting decades. But this disconnect from natural cycles becomes oddly liberating. Your sleep schedule belongs entirely to you and your technology, unbound by the constraints of solar rhythms or planetary rotation, free to follow the deeper biological cycles that evolved over millions of years of terrestrial nights. Outside your habitat, the temperature hovers around -197 degrees Celsius, cold enough to freeze every gas except hydrogen and helium, cold enough to make nitrogen as solid as stone and oxygen as brittle as glass. This is cold beyond anything experienced on Earth's surface, cold that would kill unprotected human tissue in seconds, cold that transforms familiar substances into alien crystalline structures. But inside your protective environment, warmth radiates from every surface. Advanced heating systems maintain a comfortable 20 degrees Celsius room temperature, while multiple layers of insulation protect you from the hostile cold outside. The technology that keeps you warm operates on principles of thermal management developed over centuries of human engineering. But here, it represents the difference between life and death, between comfort and instant catastrophe. Your sleeping area includes additional thermal regulation, blankets and bedding that actively manage heat distribution across your body, ensuring that your core temperature remains stable while preventing the heat loss that might otherwise wake you from deep sleep. The materials feel impossibly soft against your skin, fabrics engineered to work in conditions that would destroy ordinary textiles, creating a cocoon of warmth within the larger cocoon of your pressurized habitat.
There's something profoundly comforting about this layered protection. You're wrapped in warmth while floating in the upper atmosphere of an ice giant, surrounded by cold that could freeze your breath before it left your lungs, yet feeling as safe and comfortable as in the coziest bedroom on Earth. The contrast creates a unique sense of gratitude and appreciation for the technology and planning that allows human consciousness to exist in such an impossibly hostile environment. The heating systems operate so smoothly that they become part of the white noise of your habitat, a gentle, constant hum that speaks of energy being converted to comfort, of human ingenuity creating livable space in the vast cold of the outer solar system. What does Uranus sound like? In the hydrogen-helium atmosphere outside your habitat, sound travels at about 450 meters per second, faster than in Earth's air due to the lighter molecular composition. But the sounds available to hear are limited and strange. The rush of winds that dwarf Earth's most powerful storms, the occasional low-frequency rumble of atmospheric disturbances, the whisper of your habitat moving through gas clouds that extend thousands of kilometers in every direction. Most of the time, though, what you hear is silence. Not the silence of an empty room on Earth, but something deeper and more complete. This is the silence of a world with no solid surface, no rustling leaves, no breaking waves, no geological activity to create the subtle background sounds that fill terrestrial nights. It's the silence of floating in an ocean of gas, suspended between the planet's invisible core and the star-filled void, accompanied only by the gentle mechanical breathing of your life support systems. Inside your habitat, the soundscape becomes more intimate. The whisper of air circulation, the barely audible hum of computers maintaining your environment, the soft clicks and adjustments of systems that monitor and regulate every aspect of your artificial atmosphere. These sounds don't intrude on rest. Instead, they create a technological lullaby, the heartbeat of the machines that keep you alive while you sleep in one of the most remote locations any human has ever reached. Sometimes, when atmospheric conditions are right, you might hear the faint howl of distant winds, Uranian jet streams carrying clouds of methane ice across regions larger than continents. But these sounds arrive muffled and dreamlike, reminders of the vast alien weather systems that surround your tiny bubble of Earth-like conditions. This deep quiet encourages a different kind of rest, sleep that feels more complete somehow, as if the profound silence allows your mind to settle into depths that aren't possible when surrounded by the constant stimulation of a living world.
As you prepare for sleep in Uranus's embrace, certain practices naturally emerge, ways of connecting with this strange world while preparing your mind and body for rest. The Aurora Whisper. You position yourself near your habitat's main viewing port and watch for the irregular glows that mark Uranus's unique auroral displays. Unlike Earth's predictable northern lights, these auroras appear and disappear without warning, shifting patches of ultraviolet and infrared illumination that your instruments translate into visible light. There's no pattern to predict, no rhythm to follow, just the patient practice of watching for beauty that follows rules written nowhere else in the solar system. When the auroras appear, they seem to whisper secrets about magnetic fields and charged particles, about the invisible forces that shape this tilted world's interaction with the solar wind. Ring shadow meditation. Uranus has 13 faint rings, discovered only decades ago
and visible only under perfect conditions. From your floating vantage point, you sometimes catch glimpses of their subtle shadows cast against the planet's blue atmosphere. Lines so faint they might be imagined, geometric patterns that suggest the presence of countless tiny particles orbiting in perfect formation. Focusing on these barely visible traces becomes a meditation on the hidden complexity of seemingly simple worlds, a reminder that even in the outer darkness, matter organizes itself into structures of unexpected beauty. The methane twilight brew. As your artificial evening begins, you prepare a warm drink, heated water or herbal tea that carries no flavor from the alien world outside, but provides the ritual comfort of something warm against the profound cold. The act of sipping something Earth-like while floating in Uranus's atmosphere creates a bridge between worlds, a moment of familiar comfort in the most unfamiliar environment humans have ever inhabited. The warmth spreads through your body as you watch the deep blue haze outside your windows, methane particles that color this world with shades unknown on Earth. Tilted star count. The extreme axial tilt of Uranus creates unique stargazing opportunities. Depending on your position and the planet's location in its orbit, familiar constellations might appear to rotate slowly across the sky or remain fixed for decades at a time. You practice counting stars visible through your habitat's clear sections, learning the sky as it appears from this peculiar vantage point, finding comfort in the eternal patterns that remain constant even when viewed from a world that spins sideways through space. The ice giant's lullaby. Sometimes you hum softly to yourself, not any particular melody, but sounds that seem to resonate with the deep, slow rhythms of this massive world. Your voice mixes with the gentle mechanical sounds of your habitat, creating a personal soundtrack for rest on a planet where no other human voice has ever been heard. The act of making sound in this silent realm feels both defiant and celebratory, a declaration that consciousness has found its way to even the most remote corners of the solar system. What dreams come to those who sleep in Uranus's sideways embrace? In your deepest rest, you find yourself drifting through regions where the very concepts of up and down lose all meaning. These aren't disorienting nightmares, but strangely peaceful experiences of movement without reference points, floating through blue infinity where direction becomes a choice rather than an absolute. You dream of swimming through atmosphere, not falling, not flying, but moving with intention through a medium that supports and surrounds you like liquid light. The tilted nature of Uranus infiltrates your unconscious mind, creating dreams where entire worlds roll like wheels through space, where poles and equators change places with the slow certainty of geological time, where seasons last lifetimes and the very idea of north and south becomes fluid and changeable. You dream of standing on solid ground that slowly rotates beneath your feet, not the quick spin of a carnival ride, but the patient, inevitable movement of a world that chose to be different from all others. Methane seas appear in your sleep, not the liquid methane of Titan, but impossible oceans of blue gas that you can somehow breathe and navigate. Underwater realms that exist in the space between liquid and vapor, where you swim between clouds that feel solid and breathe atmosphere that tastes of distant starlight. These dreams don't follow the physics of waking life, but they capture something essential about floating in Uranus's upper atmosphere, the sense of being suspended in a medium that's neither quite air nor quite water.
Your sleeping mind conjures auroras that sing, not the silent light displays of the waking world, but cosmic concerts where charged particles create melodies that resonate through your bones, where magnetic field lines become harp strings and solar wind becomes rhythm, where the planet's tilted magnetic field creates harmonies that could never exist on any world that spins upright through space. Sometimes you dream of rings made not of ice and rock, but of crystallized time itself, invisible boundaries that mark the passage of decades and centuries, structures so faint they can only be seen from the corner of the eye, geometric patterns that suggest the hidden mathematics underlying all planetary systems, the secret equations that govern how matter arranges itself in the cosmic dark. As your rest deepens, you become aware of something that no Earth-dwelling human has ever experienced: the profound silence of floating in a planetary atmosphere 20 astronomical units from the Sun. This isn't just the absence of sound, it's the presence of a different kind of peace entirely. Here, surrounded by the gentle blue glow of methane-scattered light, you're further from home than humans have ever traveled in body. Yet somehow, sleep makes this alien distance feel intimate and personal. Your breathing synchronizes not with the planet's 17-hour rotation, but with the deeper rhythms of your own biology, patterns that evolved under Earth's sun but prove adaptable even here in the outer darkness. The gravity holds you gently against your sleeping surface, familiar enough to feel like home, different enough to remind you that you're resting on a world that no human eyes had ever seen until a few centuries ago. The ice giant cradles your habitat with the same gravitational embrace that holds its 13 rings and 27 moons, the same force that shapes the complex dance of matter and energy that makes this tilted world possible. Your thermal regulation systems hum quietly, maintaining the narrow temperature range that keeps human tissue alive, while everything outside exists in cold that would shatter steel. But this isn't a battle against hostile conditions, it's a collaboration between human technology and cosmic physics, a partnership that allows consciousness to exist and rest in places that it has no natural right to survive. The darkness outside is broken only by the occasional auroral glow, light shows that follow rules written by magnetic fields generated deep within the planet's mysterious interior. These displays provide just enough illumination to remind you that you're not floating in empty space, but resting in the embrace of a world with its own weather, its own seasons, its own slow dance around the distant sun. Time passes differently when you sleep on Uranus, not just because of the 17-hour rotation or the 84-year orbit, but because rest here feels disconnected from the urgent rhythms that drive life on more active worlds. Here, change happens on geological timescales, atmospheric patterns that persist for decades, seasonal transitions that unfold over decades rather than months. This temporal expansion seeps into your sleep, creating rest that feels more complete, deeper somehow, as if your mind has permission to settle into rhythms that match the planet's patient movement through space. Your dreams unfold with the slow certainty of climate change, gradual transformations that reveal their meaning only when viewed across long stretches of time. The artificial day-night cycle maintained by your habitat becomes a cocoon of familiar rhythm within this alien temporal landscape. Your body sleeps according to Earth time, while your consciousness expands to accommodate the vast, slow breathing of an ice giant,
creating a unique form of rest that bridges the gap between human biology and cosmic time. You wake from this sleep feeling not just rested, but somehow expanded, as if the experience of sleeping in Uranus's atmosphere has stretched your understanding of what it means to exist, to rest, to dream in the vast spaces between worlds. The blue glow outside your windows no longer seems alien. It feels like another shade of home, another possibility for consciousness to find peace in the cosmic dark. And now, slowly, we begin to drift away from Uranus. Something profound has changed within you during your time in Uranus's tilted embrace. You've learned to find peace in a world where familiar directions mean nothing, where seasons last longer than human lifetimes, where the very act of spinning becomes a sideways waltz through the cosmos. As the ice giant's blue glow softens into memory, you carry with you more than just the experience of sleeping on an alien world. You've touched something deeper, the understanding that beauty and rest can exist in forms you never imagined, that home is not a place, but a feeling you can create anywhere consciousness travels. The tilted world shrinks behind us now, but its lesson remains. Sometimes, the most profound peace comes from accepting that the universe doesn't always spin the way we expect it to. Uranus has taught us to find stability in the unconventional, comfort in the unprecedented. But listen, do you hear that? A sound like cosmic thunder, like the breathing of something vast and restless. Ahead of us, where the darkness deepens to shades that approach the very color of dreams, another world awaits. A world where winds rage with velocities that challenge comprehension, where the atmosphere itself moves with an energy that speaks of forces hidden in planetary cores. Neptune calls to us, the deep blue jewel at the edge of everything we know.
What would it feel like to fall asleep beneath the skies of Neptune? Imagine drifting toward a world wrapped in the deepest blue you've ever seen, a planet so distant that sunlight takes over 4 hours to reach it, arriving as nothing more than a whisper of warmth. This is Neptune, the ice giant that dances at the edge of our solar system, 30 times farther from the sun than Earth. As we approach this cerulean world, something extraordinary happens. The darkness of space begins to soften into the most beautiful shade of blue, not the cheerful blue of a summer sky, but something deeper, more mysterious. It's the blue of twilight stretched across an entire world, created by methane in Neptune's atmosphere that drinks up the red light and scatters the blue. Even in what we might call daylight here, it feels like that peaceful moment just after sunset on Earth when the world grows quiet and contemplative. Your first breath of Neptune's night air, filtered, of course, through the safety of your habitat, carries no scent at all. The hydrogen and helium atmosphere is odorless, sterile in a way that feels surprisingly pure. But there's something else. Through the transparent walls of your floating sanctuary, you can see them, the auroras, faint ribbons of light dancing in the infrared spectrum, invisible to the naked eye, but captured by your habitat's sensors and translated into the softest possible glow. These are not the fierce auroras of Earth, but gentle whispers of light, like silk scarves floating in a cosmic breeze. The habitat itself feels remarkably stable. You're floating at what scientists call the 1 bar level, where the atmospheric pressure matches Earth's at sea level.
Below you stretch endless depths of increasing pressure and mystery. But here, suspended in this sweet spot, you feel almost at home. The pressure suits you perfectly, familiar and reassuring. And then you notice something wonderful about the way your body feels. Neptune's gravity pulls at you with a strength of 11.15 meters per second squared, just 14% stronger than Earth's embrace. When you settle into your sleeping quarters, your body sinks slightly deeper into the bedding than it would at home. It's not uncomfortable, quite the opposite. It feels like being gently held, as if the planet itself is offering you a cosmic cradle. Your bed becomes a cloud that supports you with just a little more tenderness, making every position feel like you're sinking into the perfect hammock. The sleeping chamber has been designed with soft gel layers to distribute this slightly increased weight evenly across your body. No pressure points, no discomfort, just the sensation of being embraced by something vast and patient. Some Neptune sleepers describe it as sleeping in the world's most expensive mattress, one that seems to anticipate every curve and need of your resting form. But perhaps the most fascinating thing about sleeping on Neptune is the rhythm of time itself. A day here lasts only 16 hours and 6 minutes, about 2/3 the length of an Earth day. Imagine if you could compress all of Earth's experiences into this shorter cycle. 8 hours of that eternal blue twilight, followed by 8 hours of true darkness so profound it makes the deepest Earth night seem bright by comparison. Your habitat maintains an artificial 24-hour cycle, of course, using gentle blue-enriched lighting during your waking hours to keep your circadian rhythms healthy. But there's something magical about knowing that outside, Neptune spins faster than home, as if the planet itself is eager to rush through time, to dance more quickly through its cosmic waltz. This shorter day doesn't make you restless. Instead, it creates a gentle sense of acceleration, as if time itself has become more precious, more concentrated. Sleep researchers estimate that here, in this unique environment, your body might need 8 to 9 hours of rest instead of the usual 7 or 8. The slight increase in gravity creates a subtle additional load on your muscles and cardiovascular system. Not enough to cause strain, but enough to make your body work just a little harder, like sleeping at a very gentle altitude. The psychological effects of isolation and the constant reminder of cosmic vastness also demand extra recovery time for your mind. But this isn't a burden, it's a gift. Permission to sleep longer, to rest more deeply, to allow your dreams the space they need to process the incredible reality of where you are. Many Neptune sleepers find they naturally fall into a rhythm of long, restorative sleep, punctuated by brief, peaceful naps during the day hours, when that eternal blue twilight makes sleep feel natural and inviting. The temperature outside your sleeping chamber is -201 degrees Celsius, so cold that the air itself would freeze solid in moments. But inside your sanctuary, warmth radiates from every surface. The habitat's heating system works like a gentle embrace, maintaining perfect comfort while the cryogenic wilderness whispers just beyond the walls. Through your frosted viewport, you can see the endless blue atmosphere stretching to horizons that blur into hazy infinity. But here, wrapped in your thermal cocoon, it feels like being tucked under the universe's warmest quilt.
The heating system creates its own subtle music, a barely audible hum that becomes part of the lullaby of this world. Combined with the efficient circulation of warm air, it creates a cocoon of comfort that makes the brutal cold outside feel not threatening, but protective, as if Neptune's icy embrace is actually shielding you from the even vaster cold of space beyond.
And then there are the sounds. Oh, the sounds of Neptune at night. The atmosphere is dense enough to carry audio beautifully, and what it carries is the song of wind. Not the gentle breezes of Earth, but something far more magnificent. Winds that race around the planet at 100 to 300 meters per second, sometimes reaching peaks that would terrify any earthly storm. But here's the beautiful secret. Your habitat's audio systems can filter these howling giants into something entirely different. The raw, powerful roar of Neptune's endless gales becomes a deep, rhythmic breathing, like sleeping next to the world's largest ocean. The storm systems that create dark spots larger than Earth translate into distant thunder that never quite arrives, a cosmic percussion section playing so far away it becomes a lullaby. Some nights, if you listen carefully through your habitat sensors, you might hear the whispers of Triton's orbit, Neptune's largest moon, which appears roughly half the size of our moon from Earth, providing just enough reflected light to create the faintest suggestion of moonlight. Triton moves in a retrograde orbit, backwards compared to most moons, and its strange dance creates subtle variations in the light that filters through Neptune's atmosphere. This becomes part of the night's rhythm, a gentle brightening and dimming that helps mark the passage of time in this alien place. Now, let me share with you the bedtime rituals that Neptune sleepers have discovered, practices that turn the scientific reality of this world into something deeply personal and restorative. The first is called Aurora Veil Meditation. As you settle into your sleeping area, you turn your attention to the habitat sensors that translate Neptune's infrared auroras into visible light. These auroras are not the dramatic displays of Earth's poles, but something subtler, more contemplative. They appear as gentle veils of light that shift and flow in the planet's magnetosphere. The ritual involves synchronizing your breathing with their slow, ethereal movement, breathing in as they brighten, breathing out as they fade. The magnetosphere that creates these displays is tilted at 47 degrees to the planet's rotation, creating an off-kilter rhythm that somehow feels perfectly natural for drifting towards sleep. Then there's methane haze drift. Through your viewport, the blue atmosphere stretches endlessly, filled with layers of methane hazes that catch and scatter the tiny amount of sunlight reaching this distant world. The meditation involves imagining yourself becoming one of these particles of haze, drifting weightlessly through the blue infinity, released from all earthly concerns. The haze moves in patterns too slow for the eye to follow, but perfect for a mind preparing for dreams. You let your thoughts become like these particles, present but unattached, floating freely through the vast blue peace. Then there's Triton Shadow Count. Every 5 days, 21 hours, and 3 minutes, Triton completes its backwards orbit around Neptune. From your vantage point, this creates a subtle but noticeable rhythm of shadows and light. The bedtime ritual involves counting these gentle variations, not in any urgent way, but like counting sheep made of cosmic light. Sometimes Triton appears as bright as magnitude -1.2, nearly as bright as Sirius appears from Earth, and sometimes it dims to a faint glimmer. This natural variation creates a celestial metronome for your journey into sleep. The storm band whisper ritual takes advantage of Neptune's incredible weather systems. The planet is crossed by bands of storms, some lasting for years, with the famous Great Dark Spot systems that come and go across decades. Your habitat's audio processing can isolate the sounds of these distant storm bands and transform them into something like listening to rain on a roof or waves on a distant shore. The ritual involves listening to these processed storm whispers while visualizing the incredible forces at work, vortices larger than Earth, winds faster than the speed of sound, all transformed by distance and technology into the gentlest possible lullaby. Finally, there's the ring light fade meditation. Neptune's rings are faint, so faint they were nearly impossible to detect from Earth. But they're there, delicate strands of ice and dust that occasionally catch the feeble sunlight and create the most subtle backscatter of light. As your habitat slowly rotates, these faint ring glints appear and disappear like the gentlest possible strobe light. The ritual involves letting your artificial lighting dim in sync with these natural variations, creating a connection between your personal light and the vast, delicate architecture of ice that circles this distant world.
And what dreams come to those who sleep in Neptune's embrace? They are dreams unlike any that visit sleepers on other worlds. You might find yourself swirling through endless blue vortices, carried by winds that whisper the secrets of storms larger than continents. These dreams often feel like flying, but flying through something denser than air, more like swimming through liquid starlight. The great dark spot systems that have been observed and studied become dreamscapes of their own. Vast, calm centers surrounded by walls of motion, like standing in the eye of a hurricane made of twilight itself. Or perhaps you'll dream of the diamond rain that some scientists believe falls in Neptune's deeper layers. In these dreams, you float through gentle precipitation made of pure crystal, each drop a tiny prism that breaks the faint light into impossible colors. The diamonds fall so slowly in the dream that you can catch them, hold them, watch them dissolve into something even more beautiful than their solid form. These dreams often leave sleepers with a profound sense of abundance and wonder. Many experience the aurora dreams, where you become part of the light itself, dancing through Neptune's tilted magnetic field like a ribbon of consciousness. These dreams feel incredibly free. You move at the speed of thought through three-dimensional space, painting the darkness with colors that don't have names, following magnetic field lines that stretch from the planet's core out into space. Often, dreamers report feeling like they're writing messages in light across the cosmos, though upon waking, they can never quite remember what the messages said. Then there are the Triton dreams, where you find yourself on Neptune's largest moon, watching geysers of nitrogen erupt 8 kilometers into the thin atmosphere. In the dream, these geysers become fountains of liquid starlight, and you dance between them, weightless and joyful. Sometimes, the dream includes Triton's retrograde orbit, and you experience the strange sensation of time moving backwards, watching the universe unwind and rewind like a cosmic film played in reverse. The strangest dreams of all
involve floating in the planet's deeper layers, where pressure creates conditions unlike anywhere else in the solar system. Dreamers report experiencing existence as a form of living pressure itself, where thought and sensation merge into something that has no equivalent in waking life. These dreams are often described as profoundly peaceful, but entirely indescribable, encounters with states of being that consciousness can only touch during the deepest phases of sleep. But perhaps the most beautiful dreams are the simplest ones. Dreams of floating in endless blue, supported by something vast and patient and kind. In these dreams, Neptune itself becomes a conscious presence, not speaking in words, but communicating through the sensation of being held, of being part of something magnificent and eternal. Dreamers wake from these experiences with tears of joy, feeling like they've been embraced by the universe itself. Some nights, the dreams involve Earth as seen from Neptune, a distant point of light invisible to the naked eye, but somehow present in the dream consciousness as a warm memory of home. These dreams often include all the people you've ever loved, appearing not as human figures, but as points of warmth in the cosmic distance, proof that love and connection transcend any distance the universe can create. The gravity dreams are particularly fascinating, experiences of weight and weightlessness that dance between Neptune's gentle pull and the memory of Earth's familiar embrace. In these dreams, you often find yourself adjusting to different gravities moment by moment, sometimes heavier, sometimes lighter, but always perfectly supported. It's as if your unconscious mind is practicing the art of feeling at home in any world, under any sun. And now, as our time on Neptune draws to a close, we prepare to drift away from its blue embrace. The auroras fade gradually in your peripheral vision, their infrared whispers becoming part of the vast silence that surrounds all distant worlds. Triton completes another backwards orbit, marking time with its strange celestial clock, while far below, storms larger than continents continue their eternal dance through layers of atmosphere we can barely imagine. The habitat systems begin their gentle transition protocol, slowly adjusting their rhythms as we prepare to leave Neptune's gravitational influence. Through the viewport, the endless blue begins to deepen toward the black of space, but somehow it doesn't feel like leaving, more like expanding, like carrying a piece of Neptune's peace with you into the larger darkness. The winds that sang you to sleep begin to fade, not into silence, but into something even more profound, the anticipation of what comes next. Your body, now accustomed to Neptune's slightly stronger embrace, feels like it's been strengthened by its time here, made more resilient, more capable of finding rest anywhere the cosmos might take you. And somewhere in the distance, beyond even Neptune's far-reaching orbit, another world waits. A world so different from this blue giant that it seems impossible they could exist in the same universe. A world where ice becomes landscape, where the very concept of solid ground takes on meanings you've never imagined, where the sun appears as nothing more than the brightest star in a field of infinite stars. But that world, and the dreams it offers, belongs to the next part of our journey. For now, we drift away from Neptune, carrying with us the memory of blue peace, of cosmic lullabies,
of storms transformed into songs, and of sleep so deep it touches the very heart of what it means to rest in the embrace of the infinite. What would it feel like to fall asleep beneath the skies of Pluto? Imagine yourself drifting toward the very edge of our solar system, where the sun has become nothing more than a bright star among countless others. Here, in this realm of perpetual twilight, lies a world that whispers secrets from the farthest reaches of space. Pluto, the dwarf planet that captured our hearts and never quite let go. As your spacecraft settles onto this ancient, icy surface, the first thing that strikes you isn't the cold, though it is profoundly cold, but the silence. The surface pressure here is about 1 Pa, roughly 100,000th of Earth's atmospheric pressure. It's so thin, you can barely call it an atmosphere at all. Yet it's there, a whisper-thin veil of nitrogen and methane that shimmers like the faintest breath on a winter morning. Your habitat rests on a landscape that seems painted in pastels, soft tans and roses and the palest blues, colors so delicate they look like they were mixed with starlight itself. The terrain rolls gently beneath a sky that never quite knows whether it's day or night, caught eternally between the two in a dusky embrace that feels like the moment just before sleep takes hold. Pluto's atmosphere is primarily molecular nitrogen below 1,800 kilometers, with methane and carbon monoxide as important minor species. But what does this mean for you settling in for the night? The air, if we can call something so thin air, carries no scent, no bite of cold against your cheek. Instead, your pressurized habitat becomes a warm cocoon, a bubble of earth comfort surrounded by an alien vastness. Through your viewport, you can see a thin haze that encompasses Pluto from the surface up to over 500 kilometers altitude, creating the softest, most ethereal glow you've ever witnessed. It's like sleeping inside a snow globe made of the finest silk. The light here has a quality you've never experienced. Not quite darkness, not quite illumination, but something in between. The sun, so distant it appears as merely the brightest star in Pluto's sky, casts just enough light to make the ice crystals on your window sparkle like scattered diamonds. This is twilight stretched across months, a permanent golden hour that soothes your mind into a meditative state. Here on Pluto, your body feels wonderfully, surprisingly light. The gravity is just 62 hundredths that of Earth's. Imagine if you could float just a little, if every movement felt like a gentle dance. As you settle into your specially designed bed, you sink more slowly, more gracefully than you ever have before. Your limbs feel delicate, almost weightless, as if you're suspended in the most comfortable hammock imaginable. This reduced gravity means less strain on your joints, less pressure on your spine. Your body can truly relax in ways it never could on Earth. Every breath comes easier. Every muscle can finally let go of the constant work of fighting against your home planet's heavier pull. It's like sleeping on a cloud made solid enough to support you, but soft enough to cradle every curve of your tired form. Time moves differently here. Pluto has 5 climate zones: tropics, Arctic, tropical Arctic, diurnal, and polar.
But what's truly remarkable is how a single day and night cycle unfolds. A day on Pluto lasts 6 Earth days and 9 hours. Imagine having all that time to ease into sleep, to let your mind wander through the slow transitions from whatever passes for day into the deepest, most restful night. But here's where it becomes almost magical. Because you're so far from the sun, because the light is so dim and constant, your body isn't fighting against harsh solar rhythms. There's no jarring sunrise to wake you, no blazing noon to make you squint. Instead, there's just this endless, peaceful gloaming that allows your natural sleep patterns to find their own gentle rhythm. Your habitat's artificial lighting can slowly dim over hours, not minutes, allowing your circadian rhythms to stretch and settle like a cat finding the perfect spot in a sunbeam. You might find yourself naturally sleeping longer here, not from exhaustion, but from pure, luxurious peace. The temperature on Pluto's surface ranges from -230 to -210 degrees Celsius. But inside your cozy habitat, you're surrounded by warmth that feels even more precious because of the impossible cold just outside. Your thermal systems work like the most perfect blanket ever woven, maintaining that ideal sleeping temperature while the universe's most effective refrigerator hums silently beyond your walls. There's something deeply comforting about this contrast, knowing that you're warm and safe while surrounded by such profound cold makes every soft surface feel softer, every warm breath feel like a gift. Your heated sleeping chamber becomes not just a bed, but a sanctuary, a pocket of life and comfort in the vast frozen reaches of the outer solar system.
The temperature regulation here is so precise, so gentle, that you never experience those jarring temperature changes that sometimes disturb sleep. No hot flashes, no cold drafts, just perfect, constant warmth that seems to seep into your bones and stay there. In the near vacuum of Pluto's thin atmosphere, sound barely exists. What you experience instead is something even more profound than silence. It's the absence of all the noise you never realized was there. No distant traffic, no humming appliances, no rustling leaves or chattering birds. Just pure, crystalline quiet that seems to stretch out in all directions like velvet. The winds here are slow and mostly controlled by sublimation of surface ices, so even the movement of the thin atmosphere is gentle, almost meditative. Occasionally, your habitat's sensors might pick up the faint whisper of nitrogen molecules dancing in the weak sunlight, sublimating from ice to gas in slow, dreamy cycles that match the rhythm of deep breathing. This silence isn't empty, it's full of possibilities. It's the kind of quiet that lets you hear your own heartbeat, your own breathing, the subtle sounds of your body settling into rest. It's a silence so complete, it becomes its own kind of lullaby, wrapping around you like acoustic cotton. Ice crystal meditation. In your warm habitat, you can practice the ancient Plutonian art of ice crystal meditation. Watch through your viewport as the faintest breath of atmosphere creates tiny, perfect ice crystals on the outer surface. Each crystal catches the dim starlight differently, creating a slowly shifting mandala of sparkles. Let your breathing synchronize with the slow sublimation of ice, in as the crystals form, out as they fade back into the thin atmosphere. This rhythm, so much slower than anything on Earth, naturally guides your mind towards sleep. Starlight stretching. With gravity so gentle here, stretching becomes a form of slow-motion dance. Reach your arms toward Charon, Pluto's largest moon, hanging in the star-filled sky like a faithful guardian. Charon is tidally locked with Pluto and has the same climate zone structure, making it a constant, reassuring presence in your night sky. Each stretch feels like you're reaching into the cosmos itself, and as your muscles lengthen and relax in the low gravity, tension melts away like ice crystals in sunlight. The Kuiper Belt breathing exercise. Breathe in for the count of 6 Earth days, the length of Pluto's rotation. Of course, you can't actually hold your breath that long, but you can imagine it, letting each inhale feel deeper and more expansive than the last. Breathe out for another 6 days, imagining you're releasing all the stress and hurry of your Earth life into the peaceful vastness of the Kuiper Belt. This exercise helps reset your internal clock to Pluto's gentler rhythms. Nitrogen snow visualization. Close your eyes and imagine the soft precipitation that sometimes occurs in Pluto's thin atmosphere. The atmosphere is mostly nitrogen with some methane, and occasionally this creates the most delicate snow you can imagine. Each flake so light it barely exists, drifting down like frozen whispers. Visualize this ethereal snow covering you like the world's softest blanket. Each flake carrying away a worry, a tension, a piece of the day you're ready to release. Heart of the solar system gratitude. As you prepare for sleep, take a moment to appreciate your position here at the edge of everything familiar. You're further from the sun than most humans will ever travel, yet you're still connected to the same solar system, the same cosmic family. Send a thought of gratitude back toward the inner planets, to Mars, to Earth, to Venus, and forward to the interstellar void beyond. You're a bridge between the familiar and the unknown, and that bridge is your peaceful, sleeping form. In your dreams here, you might find yourself floating through landscapes made of frozen nitrogen, where mountains of water ice rise like ancient cathedrals under skies filled with more stars than you ever imagined possible. You dream of conversations with Charon, Pluto's moon companion, learning the patient wisdom that comes from circling each other in perfect harmony for billions of years. Your dreams might taste of methane snow, not the harsh chemical you know from Earth, but something transmuted by distance and cold into pure crystalline sweetness. You dream of colors that don't exist in Earth's spectrum, the special hues that emerge when starlight filters through an atmosphere so thin it's barely there at all. Sometimes you dream you're a comet, swinging in from the outer reaches of the solar